Hey everybody, it's Scott Travis with Judas Priest. You're listening to Rock On Radio.
Scott? I forgot about Scott. I forgot we had that one, Art. There you go. Hello, everybody. It is Sunday night. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are in scenic Kitestown, New Jersey, live from the COA Radio studios, also on SocietyBitesRadio.com, and we are Rock On Radio.
Woo-hoo.
Woohoo! Thank you.
That's a little delay.
Thank you.
It's a 7-second delay.
Thank you for the golf clap. We got
It was too polite.
there. See, the crowd was just cheering.
Roaring, yes.
If you want to tune in, you've already have, obviously, because you're listening to my voice. But Art, we're also on YouTube again tonight, right? We got a link.
We are. If you go to coradio.com and just the YouTube link on the right-hand bar there will take you right to it.
To see us. So, actually, I thought he just said F you.
I thought he said that too.
I might have.
Who's keeping track?
Ooh, I'm telling you.
It was a rough weekend. No?
609-241-7103. If you want to get in touch with us here tonight, you can call 609-241-7103. Or you can follow us on Facebook, Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio 2. The number 2, Facebook.com/Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio 2. Twitter, Rock On Radio, all one word, all capital letters. And we will gladly interact with you, provided it fits. Nah, we'll interact with you anyway. Like Terry's already tuned in out in Cuba, Missouri.
Cuba.
She's out there. Hi, Tara. It's always a pleasure to know that you're listening. Rock On Radio is sponsored by Neo Zoe Health and Wellness Center of Cranford, New Jersey.
Woo-hoo.
Woohoo! Rich Shalanda's Flying Dreams.
Yahoo!
Who else? Oh, Zen Archer Hot Sauce. The only
Jody Weber.
radio program sponsored by a Grammy Award-winning hot sauce maker. Go figure that one.
It's time to send more hot sauce.
That's
Yes.
right.
We depleted our supply.
As well as Eileen Sullivan,
Woo!
actress.
I miss her.
voiceover
I haven't
artist.
seen her in a
I
while.
know. She was supposed to be up here the last
I
couple of
know.
weeks, but
Bummer.
yeah.
She did say she was listening, I think.
And CPA Jody Weber, who I'm guessing she's finally able to breathe because she's over in Africa right
Yes,
now.
that's
Did you
right,
see
yeah.
that? So
That's cool.
What is she doing in Africa?
I guess she's on vacation. She was over
Isn't
in
that someplace you go in the wintertime?
I don't know.
It is the winter. Over there it is, right? Isn't it the winter?
I'm talking about winter here.
Winter. No, yeah, exactly, right? Because she's heading.
I
She likes the cold. I don't know.
I should well, my cousin actually lives in Tanzania. She went over there for business about 25, 30 years ago.
Never
and
left.
Never came back. She just
Wow.
liked it and started doing her thing over there. And then her brother, I turn on the, I see this post on LinkedIn, and her brother, my other cousin, is the vice president or the president of Big Buzz Marketing Corporation in Manhattan, and he's on CNN as one of their like experts that they talk to
Cool.
about something. I'm like, man, I gotta reach out to that side of the family again.
Yeah, he's like famous.
Yeah, right. No,
remember me?
I do. I interact with him on Facebook, but I haven't seen him, because we're all kind of spread out. I've seen their older sister. She comes out to the Tiernanog every now and then.
Oh, nice.
During happy hours, and depending on who's playing.
I've been out there.
So, no,
I have.
I've seen you there.
I've seen you a few times.
Yeah, that's all of our sponsors. And again, 609-241-7103. And that is for these fellas right here, Levy and the Oaks. Notice the crowd is filtered in.
You sound like a mating call over there. What was that?
The crowd is filtered in for Levy and the Oaks. They didn't really care much about Rock On Radio, but Levy and the Oaks.
Thanks everybody for coming. I can't believe they even fit in this room. It's crazy.
See that? Fantastic.
And you'd only know that if you're watching YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's right.
Why are you? I have a question. Why are you Danny Coleman #2 on Facebook? Who do we have to beat up to have you be #1?
Exactly.
Actually, it's
right?
It's not me. Well,
He is #1 and #2.
That's how much he is himself.
obviously, you've talked to my ex-wife.
Or you're bipolar.
No, what
Damn it, too
happened
now.
was when I first started the radio show, which this show actually began on terrestrial radio over 9 years ago, and
Do you mean your radio show is in space?
I was going to say, now he's
that means?
extraterrestrial.
now I'm extraterrestrial. Yeah.
That's Danny.
I'm just spaced out.
4.5.
Yeah, that's true.
But what happened was I started a Facebook page, Danny Coleman's Rock on Radio. Well, when I changed stations, when I got off terrestrial radio and just realized because nobody was listening to me on AM radio, and went strictly internet, well, it was that and a Christmas party that apparently they were not happy with. But that's a whole nother story.
Do tell.
Yeah, apparently.
You got too merry?
What Danny was that? 1 or 2?
Yeah, right.
Well, the
The
one-
first one, that's why he changed the
Danny
second
3
one.
showed up.
But so what happened was
Waiting for Danny 3 now.
right.
You're right.
When I tried to
3.0.
change the name, they wouldn't let me. Facebook wouldn't let me. When I tried to change the station, they said because it's a business page. That was as they were gearing up to get ready to start charging people for things.
I gotcha.
So I had to start a whole new page. So I lost the 3,000 or 4,000 likes I had, and I had
Yeah,
to
that's a
start all
bummer.
over. And so it's a mess. But yes, so that's why it's Danny Coleman's Rock on Radio
2.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Got it.
2.0.
2.0.
So you're the person we have to beat up, or is
Yes.
it Facebook? We need to beat up Facebook.
Facebook.
Please
Yeah,
Always.
okay.
do that.
Always
So,
Facebook.
but yeah, so that's why that is how it is. So, so you come to me from Bob Makin.
Yes, we do.
You come to me from Bob Makin because he's having his Roots Fest. I had it right here. Where'd it go?
Yep. August 11th.
August 11th.
At the
right?
Asbury Park Brewery.
The best
That's right.
brewery in Asbury
The
Park.
part of the Making Waves. I got it. Oh shoot, where'd it go? Part of the Making Waves Summer Concert Series, and you know what? This is another thing I hate about Facebook. There it is. Making Waves Summer Concert Series at the Asbury Park Brewery, which is the second annual Making Waves Roots Fest. Woo! With Cranston Dean, the Burns, the Paper Jets, Tara Dente, and Levy and the Oaks.
Woo!
There's one more, right?
Is there another one that's been added?
Is there?
That's all I got on here.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of another show.
Well,
Edit that.
Well, the Asbury Park Brewery it's located at 810 Sewall or Sewell Avenue. Sewell. There's a Sewell Avenue in Hamilton. It's spelled differently, but it's pronounced Sewell. But Sewell Avenue in Asbury Park,
This is Sewell, New Jersey.
there is. I know. It's
It's called
local.
it Seawall for
Right.
so many years.
Oh, I just
Yep.
found out now that
That's
that's not
Sewell.
Seawall.
Nope.
Sewell.
Sewell.
Yeah, it's got to be like local dialect. If
That's
you
kind of like-
live in Newark, New Jersey, or Newark, Delaware,
Yeah,
they're
it's
spelled
different.
the same.
Yeah.
Right.
But so you guys are here because you're gonna, talk a little bit about that show and so on and so forth. But you're also here because you have a brand new CD that's being released on Friday,
Friday, August 3rd. Yes.
August
album.
3rd. And check this out. I'll throw one of those over to you. There you go. And check this out. Those of you watching at home or watching on radio, you can right there, pink cassettes. How cool is that?
Wow, cool. I'm just impressed it's a cassette.
Yeah, right. Now, for those of you
Now, can
under
you
the
play
age
it?
of 30, don't know what this is.
Where do you play that?
No, that's really.
I
that's
can't believe
really
that kid was selling like $5 cassettes.
right.
People were not rushing it.
Not rushing. But this is actually a compilation disc, right?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Tom from Jersey Rock.
From
right?
on the Rat, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Hanley. Or
Yep, you got it, Hanley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's really cool.
Cool.
But you want that too?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture.
Okay. there
So
you
if you're
go.
driving
Oh,
a
sorry.
car pre-1980, you'll be.
Yeah, right.
My car actually has a tape player in it.
Does it?
Yeah.
I had.
You have to go to Goodwill.
Yeah,
Quick trip to Goodwill, and then you can listen to the cassette player.
Yeah, get Barbara Streisand. They always have Barbara Streisand tapes
they
for
do.
some reason.
Yes.
My truck
those
broke.
racks.
My truck
Yeah.
broke down. I was driving a '95 Buick LeSabre, right?
What color?
Maroon, of course. It was
Of
maroon or
course.
that ugly champagne. It didn't come in.
Yeah,
And
that's
there
what
were
I
no
have.
other
I have the-
colors.
I have the ugly
There
champagne.
you go. See.
I prefer it.
And I was like transitional man. I had both cassette and CD.
Ooh,
Future Man.
Wow.
Yeah, see? So I could have played.
You can't even buy those anymore.
I could have played
in your
both
car.
of these at the same time.
Do you
can't
remember
even
when?
get CDs anymore.
No, they don't
Not
even put them in
really.
cars
No,
anymore.
they don't.
Yeah,
It's all
isn't that
fucked
weird?
up.
That's how that happens.
Yeah, crazy.
You used to be able to put 6 CDs in your trunk. Do you remember that?
Oh, the changer, yeah.
Yeah.
That was fancy.
Yeah.
See?
I never had one of those.
No.
Never that fancy.
Just a single.
Pinky's out, SpongeBob.
You
Anyway.
can't quote SpongeBob to me. I have never seen it.
I think my parents had one in a Saturn, so I don't know if that counts as fancy. it was still a Saturn.
It was a Saturn.
They don't make those anymore either. Do they?
No, they don't make them
Is that
anymore either.
custom or something?
It's like they don't make the car or the things.
They've saved money on the Saturn so
Right.
they could get the disc. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sad but true. Which, you know what? Why don't we just, well, since we're talking about that, wait a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself, as
You are,
usual.
yes.
Putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. Let's talk about Levy and the Oaks. Now, did your last name come into play when it was the Oaks, or was it, we talking about because you guys are sturdy like the tree? What are we dealing with here?
Well, we'd hope
You're
it
both.
would be. We hope it'd be because of the trees. But yeah, it was kind of like a play on my last name.
Okay.
My last name's Oaken, so we were going to be called the Levies, but there was already a band name called the Levies.
And there's the Levy drivers.
So, true.
Mm-hmm.
So then
So that was our first
yeah.
option. We were like, we want to be the Levies. And then we were like, we can't really do that. And it was like, what about Oaken? And we're like, I don't know.
Too simple,
And then we
maybe.
came up with Levy and the Oaks. We kind of just squished the ideas together. So, yeah.
Nice.
But
So
You
that's
like the
Although
little
the Levy-
acorns?
Levy and the Pine Cones.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's how you guys.
Yeah, that's
named
where
the
that kind
band.
of comes from.
Right, now, where are you from, actually? What's your base of operations, so to speak?
We are actually both from Linden, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So a little bit more north than where we live now.
We currently reside in Asbury Park.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Art and I we were just there Friday. We shot some footage of Tyler Plazio, and the Extensions were there, and the Next, I think, was the other band that was there.
Oh, I've seen them.
So-
I mean, I've seen their name.
But at the Asbury, which was a neat venue, quite eclectic. But
The
Art-
hotel
Art,
or the Asbury?
the Asbury, it's called.
Oh, it's called the Asbury.
But it is the
It's a
Asbury
hotel,
Hotel.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
The lounge.
Gotcha.
Yep. And
So Art and I were lounge lizards.
That's where the Asbury Lanes is as
Tell
well.
you what, you break out your
we
video
parked
camera
in front
and you
of the
get
lanes and
attacked
had
by
to
the
walk
management.
around the block. 'Cause
Yeah.
Art must have drove around for 25 minutes trying to find
It's
parking.
very hard to park there.
Yeah.
There's really nowhere to go.
Just got to get lucky, you know. Like,
I even went to the Wonder Bar.
Yeah.
You
Gotta
know?
find some, follow somebody. Creepily.
I did that like 3 times,
Yeah.
didn't I? And
Yep.
they like sat in their car. I guess they were just, doing something else.
We don't want to know.
Yeah. Now, I'm not leaving for at least
No.
20 minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
They weren't coughing their parking spot, and they weren't sharing. So they were
Exactly.
Yeah. Probably stay until the next day 'cause they never park.
So when I was 12, I actually bowled in a tournament at Linden Lanes.
Yeah.
Is that still there?
Oh,
It is still there.
See?
And they also have that like bowling trophy. Was it Bolinsky Brothers or? It's like an old bowling shop that's still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like one of the only like
Pro shops?
pro shops in like
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
They have a plaque on the wall that Danny Coleman bowled here.
Yeah, like George Washington slept
Exactly.
here. Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, now that,
That's,
to
now,
look
that,
for
that's in
that.
Rahway.
now that you mention it, I do remember seeing that plaque there.
And now you finally met me.
Yeah.
Yes.
See how,
This
see how
is
time
Exciting.
makes us all peers?
Yeah.
All right, maybe not.
No.
We're like, let's start a band so we can play music and then we can get on a show and then we can meet them.
Yes, that's exactly.
See,
See,
that's
that's
where our, you don't have to ask us where the origins
I
are.
love it when a plan comes together. So, all right, so your base of operations is Asbury Park, then, so
Yep.
to speak. So, how did Levy and the Oaks come to be? Have you guys grown up together, or is that?
Somewhat.
Or-
Not from
or-
little kids, but
Okay.
high school.
Teens.
15.
Teens.
So, like, yeah.
Yeah, so we were from the same town, and there was a band that was formed with some guys in Linden and some guys in Cranford, which you plugged earlier, one of your sponsors, right? That was a band called Socratic, and we were all part of that band for a little bit, and that band kind of dissipated when the label that we were on kind of went under, and we started up Levy and the Oaks.
Who else was in Socratic? I know that name.
Kevin Bryan,
Kevin
Vinny
Bryan, he's
D'Amico.
from Cranford. Our friend Tom Stratton. was in it.
Yeah,
Adam Sweeter.
For some reason, that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, this was like.
It was a while
This
ago.
was a while ago. This is
Okay.
almost over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And
So we were playing music together for a while.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we played we played for a long time.
All right.
Mhm.
So, and if you're just tuning in, this is Rock on Radio. We have Levy, and we have Lou from Levy and the Oaks here on air with us live. If you go to our website, you can watch this if you want by just clicking on the YouTube link on the City of Angels page, COARadio.com, or you can listen on SocietyBitesRadio.com. Call us 609-241-7103, and we'll give you something. We got new merch right
yeah,
now. We got
pens. Woohoo!
we got some Rock on Radio pens.
Bright
and we
yellow,
got bumper
black.
stickers. We have a copy of Levy and the Oaks, Sound of the City, which is not due to come out until Friday.
Yeah. Pre-order is live right now on iTunes.
Okay.
Wow,
Go ahead. What are your? How do we do
nice.
that? What are sites and everything?
Ooh, so we're on all the social media platforms.
iTunes.
iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Levy and the Oaks, Levy and the Oaks, just like the tree.
Okay.
Google it. I
It-
think that's always easy. That's what I tell them. Just
Google
just
it.
Google the name and then
Levy and the Oaks and find
What's
us
the name of
that
your
way.
band?
There you go.
Google it.
Hey, when I was a much younger musician, and we played this one bar, and we were having trouble getting people in because we were playing there. This guy would book you Friday and Saturday for the month, so 4 straight weekends you would play there. So by
wow.
week 3 or 4, the crowds were less because people were going out to see other
Yeah,
people.
the bands. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, we got to change the name of our band, and I said we should call ourselves Free Beer. When they
that
put the
is
ad in the paper tonight at the Manor Hotel, free beer. Yeah.
Wow, that's actually genius.
They'd be turning people away.
Yeah, that can get the venue or the bar in a lot of trouble.
See, no, that's our band. There you go.
Yeah, but they'll probably go there for free beer and they're gonna.
Don't
stay
you
and
think?
drink-
Wouldn't you
they're
show
gonna
up
pay
for
it
free
anyway.
beer?
Could be
Did
a
it
riot.
work? Did it work?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't change the name. But,
Oh.
I thought about it.
Regular price beer. That's
yeah,
what you guys
right.
were the next week.
Yeah, right.
So obviously, Levy, then the band bears your name. You're the guitar player.
Yeah, guitarist, singer.
Okay.
Yep.
And Lou, you're the percussion guy, I'm guessing. Drummer. What?
Actually, yeah, I play bass and sing
Oh,
in the
okay.
band. I do percussion when we do stripped down stuff like this and when we play unplugged.
Okay.
But when you come see us full throttle, if you will, I'm behind the bass guitar.
Okay. So who else is in the band?
We have Chris Cologne, who plays the electric guitar or the lap steel. He also sings too. We do a lot of 3-part harmony. We have Owen Flanagan. He's one of our drummers right now.
Yeah, so there are multiple Oaks.
We have multiple on stage.
I was gonna say he
so we have Oaks on call.
Nice. Yeah.
So the three of us, Levy, myself, and Chris, we're basically the main songwriters, the main members of the band. And then we have some drummers come in and out. We have an extra guitar player sometimes. Sometimes we have a piano player. We just have a lot of friends, and sometimes they join us on stage.
Got Tony Oak, Nick Oak.
Nick Oak. Yep.
That's it, right?
So you're
now,
like the
I think.
Ramones.
That is.
Yeah, anybody who comes in, you're like, here, put on this necklace, and now you're an Oak.
Yeah, we give them a necklace, and that's it. It's a true story.
Who makes the necklaces?
Ooh, Levy's mom.
Actually, my mom, yeah, my mom.
Really?
makes those, Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah.
Does everyone have a different type of necklace?
Well, they're like snowflakes. They're not all.
Kind of.
There's
No
no
two
necklace
alike?
that's exactly the same,
Right.
but same kind of vibe.
She used to make a lot more, but recently she actually made us some to sell at the
At the
release
gigs?
show.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Because I was like, if somebody doesn't want to buy a T-shirt, maybe like a girl.
That's your
or
signature,
a dude,
so,
whatever.
yeah.
You'd be like, hey, you can buy.
And that's this
buy a
Friday at the
necklace.
Asbury Lane.
I was gonna say, yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's our album release show for the Sound of the City EP, out this Friday, Asbury Lanes in Asbury Park. We got some cool bands on the bill. We got the Burns, who are also on the Making Waves Root Fest with us on the 11th, the week after. We have Avery Mandeville and the Mandevils. We got Rachel Anna Dopkin, and this hip hop group, I believe, Black Suburbia. So it should be a good night. Super cool. You can listen to rock music and bowl.
Yeah. Right. At
Yeah.
the same time.
And there's a 24-hour diner
Cool.
and obviously a bar. So if you're into that kind
Nice.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Art and I saw Asbury Lanes the other night, right, Art?
I think we saw every venue in Asbury. Park.
3 times.
They're all on the same block anyway. So.
Yeah, they're all right there.
Yeah, we all went around the corner.
Wunderbar and
That's right.
Asbury Park Lane.
And then Art and I went to Clancy's for dinner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, they got people playing
Is it
there
good?
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we're sitting in there, and then Art says, "All right, now where in location to the Wonder Bar was the Stone Pony?" And I was like, "Oh shoot, we missed that one.
Yeah, it's a
How did
little-
we miss that one?
Never
across the
seen-
street.
We drove
Well, it's
everywhere.
been a long time since I've been
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
It's like on the
It's
the
right
other,
next to it.
other
2 blocks
side.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and Langosta's right across the street from it. So,
What
All
did you, what did you eat at Clancy's?
I was a little disappointed.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
I went in there wanting a Bang Bang bar pie,
Okay.
which used to be a staple on the menu, or one of their Reuben bar pies, where they
Yep.
build like a Reuben on top of the bar pie, you know. And all they had was sausage and peppers, cheese, and like pepperoni or something. They only had 3 bar pies.
To
They-
be honest, I've never gotten a bar pie from there.
no?
No, I do like their Reubens. I do
Mhm.
like they have like a burger night, which like they have all different types of burgers, which is really cool. I like their steak quesadilla. It's really good.
yeah.
And they are
So I
like
was just curious.
the only Irish pub that has sushi.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, like, let me have the
live
let me
sushi
have the
chef.
I didn't see the
O'Neill's.
sushi.
But they didn't have a sushi menu. They
Yeah.
didn't have a sushi menu, and I said to the waitress,
Well,
I
it was
said, "What
11 o'clock at night.
Oh yeah. that
Yeah,
can
they
be
can eat
fine.
leftover
that.
sushi. At
The
least.
sushi
You don't
You
want
don't
the
want
sushi
you don't want
menu at
sushi at 11 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
right?
I'll be like, nah, I'm not eating that. Nah.
I said, what happened to the Bang Bang bar pies?" And she's like, "Oh, they don't have them anymore. They kind of changed their menu." I was like, "No kidding." The Bang Bang bar pies was like all hot peppers, various hot peppers with cheese and sausage, and they were out of
That
this
yeah,
world.
that sounds really good.
Bacon, ham. It was like kind of a, like a, but it was only a bar pie. So, yeah, so that's, that was funny. But yeah, we took, Art got a tour of Asbury Park. Not by choice.
Did you guys take one of those tables that you pedal around on? You see those? They have
Oh,
those
the
there?
trolleys?
Like
There's a
the
bunch of
trolley that
trolleys
you
around
sit
there.
on it,
Oh.
and everybody's like at a table. I don't think you can drink on it, but it looks like you should.
You
And
should.
and
Basically bar
everybody
hop,
pedals,
and you pedal this
and
trolley
you
around
go
to
down
all
the
the
street,
bars.
like-
No, I didn't see
Really?
that.
Yeah, kind of silly.
It was
Yeah, that's
raining while we were there, which compounded, which was good because everybody was inside instead of out on the boardwalk.
Just
you know,
hanging
but-
out.
Yeah. So, well, why don't we do a tune? We'll get people acclimated with you right
Sure.
away, and then we'll come
Sweet.
back and talk about the release party and whatever else we can think of. The Making Waves Root Fest, the various chocolates that Claire has adorned us with here
Exactly.
this
Same
evening.
as
really
the last
good.
time, though. Yes, they are.
New to us.
Good. Yep.
See? Uh-oh.
Go
Art's
for it.
on the move.
Dark almond,
Now, do you,
orange almond.
you have another disc, right? This is...
Yes, we have a full length that came out about a year ago.
Okay.
And this new one is an EP.
And we have that one actually on a vinyl record,
Nice.
debut album.
Ooh. You're like retro all the way.
Yeah,
telling you.
It's nice.
real record.
Now we got the cassettes. We're just
That's
on a
what
roll
I'm
here.
saying,
And
exactly.
the CDs, they're retro now. Man,
Music's gonna be retro soon. What are you listening to? Oh, it's just a bunch of beeps and boops.
yeah, that's our debut. Our debut album was self-titled, and then we did an unplugged kind of EP after that. Very much right after that, because we play like this, like we're about to play here all the time. It's kind of how the songs start, so it's kind of cool.
Okay.
Like we enjoy playing unplugged because that's kind of where it all begins on acoustic guitar. Like
People
on the
often
couch.
people often used to say that to me. Why don't you have full bands on your show? Why don't you? Well, AM radio. I actually had a decent sized studio. It's a little smaller than this, but there was room where I could have set up a full band, but they'd be right on top of me. you know?
Yeah.
So, and it would have been just way too loud.
Yeah, doing the
in
sound
there.
for that.
Yeah, we're
is-
gonna get a little kid's drum set for the corner.
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Yeah, you could do like the little Jimmy Fallon, like little kids
That's right.
instruments. Like here's a recorder.
Yeah, right. They do a little
little drum
kazoos.
kit.
Little mini piano.
Yeah.
But the Fisher Price.
I had that.
His xylophone. I still do.
Oh, that's excellent. Excellent.
But I kind of like it when I force an electric band to play acoustic. And I've had more than one band over the years come to me and say, it's really kind of cool. We had to relearn these tunes. And a couple of them we might keep that way for certain gigs.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah,
So,
when you
Take them
hear-
out of their comfort
Hear 'em
zone.
a little
Yeah.
more open. you
First
know?
MT Unplugged,
mm-hmm.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
See?
And then like Clapton did it too, right? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
really-
Unplugged.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Correct. So what are you going to do? You want to go live? You want to go off the CD? What do you want to do first?
Yeah, we'll go live.
We'll
We'll
do a
play.
live one.
We'll play our newest single. It's out right now. It's called Mirror Mirror.
Okay.
Yep.
That's on here, too,
That's
right?
it's on the
It
new
is.
record. It's
Yep.
on Spotify. It's on
Is
Google
this
it.
its first time
Ah,
on radio?
Google
is this
it.
a world
This
premiere?
is the
This
world.
is the world
This is the
premiere.
world premiere of this song
World premiere, Sunday.
Yeah.
Here
But,
on Rock on Radio.
Yes, this song is called Mirror Mirror. And it's kind of like a little story song. I think kind of talks a little bit about self-image and problems that can cause.
All
It
right,
hits
there
on a
you
bunch
go.
of current topics that kind of the world is facing today.
There
So,
you go.
yeah.
All right, Levy the Oaks here on Rock on Radio.
Ballerina stubbing her toe, dances through the blood, she keeps it composed. In the air there's tears in her eyes, years of sadness her mother can't hide. She took the long way home, she grew up but not in heights, in love with the popular. In her room with the face filtered right, but God made her beautiful. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you were cracked after all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you watched her fall. On the news we're missing your kid, didn't make it out alive. Another wasted teenage life as the sirens pass you by. You said everything seemed blurry and wrong felt right. You took the long way home. She grew up but not in heights, in love with the popular. In her room with the face filtered right, but God made her beautiful. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you were cracked after all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you watched her fall. Skin is just a uniform we wear to fight the war. Remember to salute yourself every time you walk out the door, because the shrapnel of their words will go buzzing by your face. They'll try and put you in your place. They'll try and put you in your place. She woke up with swollen feet, limped into the kitchen where she'd eat with her dear mother, but never speaks a word about the baby. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you were cracked after all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you watched her fall. Mirror, mirror on the wall, beautiful after all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, beautiful after all. Mirror, mirror on the wall, mirror, mirror on the wall.
There you go.
Nice.
Threw me for a loop. I was just getting ready to repost the things that you posted.
Oh, sorry.
They ended on me.
Nice. I love it.
I like it.
Thank you.
I saw you guys have a video for that somewhere on one of your sites or on. Looked like you were in a coffee shop, maybe, right?
Oh, but that was actually probably at a rehearsal spot.
Was it from yesterday?
No, I don't think so. Maybe
Oh,
the day
you know
before.
what? You're right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it might have been from the
before.
rehearsal.
Could've
You
spot.
had the lap
Yeah.
steel guy with you
Yes.
in the video.
So then, yes, that was from probably like practice or something.
Right.
Yeah. We try to keep up on like the posts on the social media, so we'll record things once in a while and post them up there.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
In
you have to,
today's,
yeah.
Yeah, the internet gods.
They need it. You have to, right? So where are you from originally, Levy?
I'm from Linden, New Jersey.
Oh,
So
Linden.
New Jersey.
Okay, yeah, we said that.
Yeah.
You both grew up in Linden?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. But now you're in Asbury Park. So how'd you start? What was your interest? How'd you get into music?
My father actually plays guitar.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been into music. I was actually really like a sports guy for like when I was really little, and I always liked music, even when I was like a really little kid. But I always played sports. And then one of my friends got a guitar when he was like 11. So then all of a sudden I wanted a guitar. So I got a guitar when I was 12. And I always remember my mom telling my dad, like, you know, once you get him that guitar, like, sports are going to take, like, the back burner. Which I still played until out of high school, but right when I got a guitar, I kind of was... I feel like I almost didn't really have a choice. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when you get things like that, you're kind of like, this is what I feel comfortable doing this.
So that was like your watershed moment because your friend got a guitar, or
Yeah, he
Okay.
got a guitar. He started playing like "Wish You Were Here" and like Nirvana songs, and that was it.
Nice.
Yeah, I just wanted a guitar.
So who did you, when you were a kid, who'd you listen to? What was your favorite kind of music?
The first music I think I really got into was Nirvana, and I think I was probably around 6 years old. And I really remember, being like a little kid, like, I really like this, like, and since then I've really always really liked.
Well, you had an
music.
older sister too, right? That
And
was
I
kind
also
of
had an
feeding you
older
the cool music.
Yeah, like the whole like, there was a kind of like New Jersey, late '90s, early 2000, like all like those kind of bands like Midtown, Saves the Day, kind of like punk, indie kind of stuff.
Okay.
So she was 2 years older than me, so she always kind of was like on the cutting edge of like getting the new local artist, and then therefore I kind of was introduced and always knew what was going on because of
Is
her.
she a musician too?
No, she was just a
Just
music
a-
fan.
just a
Yeah,
fan.
like really. I even remember. I mean, you remember when you used to like be able to send in a penny when they hit the magazines? Like
Yeah,
you send in a
right.
penny and they give you like
CD clubs.
Yeah, and they give you like 30 cassettes. Like I remember that when I was
cassette
really
clubs.
little. Like No Doubt and like
would break.
Sublime. And,
What happened to all those cool things? They're all gone now.
yeah, well now, who would pay a penny for music when you just
When you can get it for free.
Who would pay a penny for music when you could pay 99 cents for a download? I was actually talking with a guy by the name of Stu Cook. Stu Cook is the bassist for Creedence Clearwater Revival. Now, of course, Tom Fogerty has passed away, and John Fogerty sued him because they used the name Creedence Clearwater Revisited. But they just played the Quick Check Balloon Festival in Reddington. Excuse me.
Did you go to that?
No,
Oh.
I did not. It's today, actually.
So you'd be there.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
conflict of interest.
But yeah, it was all weekend, I guess, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and they had entertainment. But today was the big day with Creedence Clearwater Revisited. And him and I were talking about just that. And I think he put it in perspective the best. He said, think about it. When we were much younger, people never bought albums. They went out and they bought 45s of just whatever the record company would release as a single. There's an A side and a B side.
Mm-hmm.
You would buy 45s, and they were what, 79, 99 cents. When you were a kid, he says now it's just been replaced by downloads. Downloads are 99 cents.
Yeah, like a single, one
$1.29
song.
for He said so. Everybody keeps saying everything's different, but really it's not that much. It's just kind of come full circle.
It's just like
I
the
think it's
platform,
different.
I
like
agree.
I think it's different because you back in the day you had to work for it, you had to find it. It took time. It took real effort on your end to go to that record store to find out what the new album was or the new single, and then you had a physical, tangible piece of product in your hand that became like part of you, and that's what made you you. And now it's just way too easy. It's all taken for granted. Instant gratification. I don't even really have to want to listen to the song, but my phone will just play it anyway.
Correct.
No,
You're 100% correct.
starting in the middle of the night. And
It gives you answers to questions you've never asked.
right?
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I agree with that. But to his point, it is now. People are only buying 1 and 2 downloads off of an album. They don't sell vinyl anymore the way they used to in massive record stores like Sam Goody or certain music stores.
Yeah, because they're not there anymore.
Or,
even.
right,
Yeah,
or the
they're
city
not even
used to
there.
have a disco mat, it was called. New York City, there was one, like it seemed every 3 blocks, there was a disco mat. It
They
was a
Tower
massive
Records too, right?
Tower
Yeah.
Records, right.
Still J&R music, right?
You've got them, but they're not the size that they once were
Yeah, no, you're
because,
Yep.
other than the current revival that, is going through the millennial crowd of, ooh, vinyl, what is that? It's like finding, a dinosaur bone when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
they sell it at like Urban Outfitters.
Right.
Like,
yeah, so
kind of
now,
like-
right. I mean,
I'm
I
waiting
bought-
on the 8-tracks.
Yeah,
When are the
right.
8-tracks coming back?
No.
Never.
I can't wait
No?
till they bring back what is it? Was it gramophone or?
Uh,
Is that a Thomas,
you have
like-
one, Dan.
I
don't you?
actually have one.
Really?
I have a Victrola. It's not a gramophone. It doesn't have the big horn, but it's the kind that's
Do you have the dog too?
who Nipper?
Is that-
No, I don't have Nipper. Actually, I got pictures of it on my phone. But no, I actually have a Victrola where you crank it up and you put what's called a reproducer. It's a round thing about this big, and it goes to an arm that's hollow.
And it like hits
It's
it.
made of
right,
brass,
right?
and then there's a needle, and the needles are they're like this thick, and they're like this long, and you slide it in, you tighten it with a screw, and you put it down on the record, and then the sound comes off the record through the tube and out the front. The volume control is open or close the doors. That's the
That's
truth.
awesome.
And you're ready to rock.
Does it still work?
Yeah, oh yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I actually rescued it. I was in my grandparents' garage, and it had been up there from the time I was, knee high, and it worked, but it needed a lot of work. And I had a friend, my good buddy Bobby Brooks, who actually owns like a dozen type of those same machines, and he helped me restore it and fix it. And for my wedding, as a wedding gift, he gave me an album. What the original album was like a photo album where you opened it up, and there were sleeves with different 78 records in there. And he gave me a reproducer head and a whole bag of needles. So,
Wow.
That's so cool.
it was. And like, I had all my grandparents' 78, so I only use it maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah.
I
It's
have-
just like history, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I have like Bing Crosby's White Christmas on 78.
But it probably sounds really cool coming out of that.
It does.
Right? You
It's
probably feel like
very-
you're right back to like.
Actually, after the show,
The year.
I've got video of it on my phone. I'll let you see it. It's pretty cool, but because you got to get the speed right, or they either sound like Mickey Mouse or they sound like this.
Yeah, Barry White.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Because
Barry
there's no
White.
switch, right? It's not just an easy switch where it knows how
No,
fast or slow
you
to
have to
spin.
crank it
Yeah.
up, and you have to make sure the speed stays.
That's
So
so
it took
cool.
work to listen to music back then, but
Every person listening to your song, it's going to sound different out of that thing, which
True.
is kind of really cool.
yeah, if you go if you crank it up real fast, and there's an adjuster for speed.
It's an aerobic workout.
But-
You
I was
Yeah,
gonna say it's
pretty
like
much.
the old Fitbits,
Yeah,
How
exactly.
many steps could you get in?
I keep expecting a monkey to pop out, but
Doesn't the monkey that cranks it?
yeah, that's what I'm saying, to help me.
Yeah, that was the
Oh, to help you. Oh, I just thought you were the monkey.
that's the premier version.
What you're saying is it's the original shake weight. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, right,
The shake
yeah,
weight.
yeah,
Correct.
right, to shake
Oh,
weight.
God, remember that? Wow.
Yeah, that must just make your whole body like. After you do that, for a while, you're just like, you're all right, man. You're coming down. No.
So you guys have
Shaking.
experience with a shake weight.
I think they're too young.
Somebody, wait, what's shake weight? Shake weight's like, is it
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
guy? Somebody I know had it. And I did try it. I never, had it.
Yeah,
Went
no,
back.
I never owned one.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if we can believe
You know,
this.
all
sort of
I was
a-
gonna- he's
my friends that have the shake weight, they also own the squatty potty. They're like the same kind of.
Like
friends.
as seen on TV.
Like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Those are those-
strictly
those are those
every
friends.
tchotchke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snuggie, shake weight.
Yeah.
And then ShamWow.
And
to
when
clean.
you talk to them about it, they're like, "You've been doing it all wrong your whole life. Like you got to get this thing. It's $19.99." I'm like, "How have I been doing it wrong my whole life?"
And if you order now, we'll send you a second one free.
Yeah, it's like, why do I need two though? One of them works.
Oh, gosh. So, how about you, Lou? What made you get into this thing called music?
Similar story to Levy over here. My dad was a huge music fan. He grew up in Queens. And basically, he listened to all of the great music that I'm sure you listened to as well. his favorite bands growing up were the Eagles and the Talking Heads. I had a VHS, well, he had a VHS tape of Stop Making Sense, like live.
Right.
And it's the first thing I remember musically as a kid, watching this tape. And it became my favorite tape, so when I was home, I would set up my Fisher-Price table, like my little table, on top with pots and pans, and I would play along to the Stop Making Sense by the Talking Heads. And I did that for many, many years until I was old enough to actually get a real instrument and start playing music myself. So my earliest memory, outside of the cassette tapes in the van when we would go on vacation, was Stop Making Sense by the Talking Heads.
Right.
And that's how I kind of got into it. And I always sang when I was younger. I was in a ton of choirs. I did some musicals. I did I was Tommy and Tommy. Like I did a bunch of cool stuff like that.
Oh,
I was
wow.
really into the theater kind of stuff when I was younger. And as soon as I started playing guitar, it was all kind of downhill from there. And I met Levy, and we've been doing it ever since.
How'd you two guys meet?
I mean, like we said earlier, we were in the same town, and we were in that same band before this one. So, yeah, I
Nice.
knew. I went to high school with some of the other members that were in that band, and when I met them, they were like, "Hey, what are you doing after school?" And they knew I was in the band, and I was like, "Oh, nothing." Like, "Hey, well, like you're from the town next to ours. Like, come to our rehearsal. Like, hang out." So I went to one of the rehearsals, hang out. Next thing you know, like I was in the band, in the van, with the trailer, traveling the world, and it was pretty cool. So can't complain.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
And now you guys have this disc, which is it's going to come out this coming Friday. It's going to be released. It's a 6-song EP.
Yep.
Why didn't you go with like 7 or 8 and just make it a full length?
I feel like because we did that already. We did our debut album was a whole full length album, and then we did a little unplugged EP. And with this guy right here, we wanted to get music out as fast as possible because I feel like people today, they have zero attention span.
Right.
So we wanted to get all the songs out that we had. We didn't want to wait any longer. And we thought those were the songs on there is our strongest material right now. So we just wanted to put our best foot forward.
Okay. Sound of the City. What's the significance of that title?
Oh, well, it is the title track, the last
Okay.
song on it. We just thought it was kind of a good song name, but then also kind of what sums up kind of a lot of the lyrical content on the whole thing. Sound of the City, it's kind of like the line in the song is kind of about missing somewhere else that you're not.
Right.
Last year I was recently divorced, so the song kind of goes through that kind of emotion of leaving somebody or feelings in a place where you've been for a very long time, and the confusion of having to completely move on. And I think a lot of the songs kind of each one ties into that, but the song Sound of the City completely ties into that the whole thing of moving on and
Okay.
just getting on with it, I guess.
Nice.
hmm
I mean, I've been where you're at, so I've been there. Except I had kids involved in the situation, which made it.
I did
you
not.
know,
That's
I kind of gathered that from the way you said that. That makes that also very tough at times. But all right, so you got 6. Where'd you record it?
all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, 3
Somehow I
different.
had a feeling you were gonna say that. By the way you looked at him, I thought,
We did
Like
some of it in
where?
the city. We did some of it in my apartment. We did some of it at this place, Portrait Recording Studios in Pompton Plains. So we bounced a little all over the place. We worked with a few different people.
Yep. My
Which
friend
is,
Andrea did one of the songs.
Yep. Our buddy Christian did another one. Joe Palm. But yeah, our goal was to work with as many people as possible.
mastering engineers hate you guys.
That's all right.
I know we never met him. We just send him.
Yeah, we just
send
send it.
songs. So
Yeah.
like,
I know a guy that's a mastering engineer for Sony, and he said it's like when these artists think they're doing these great things by recording half the album in Nashville, the other half in L.A., and it's like,
Yeah.
I got to put that stuff together so it all sounds like the same studio.
Yeah, especially when
you know?
sounds are
It's
so
like,
different.
Yeah. So
I mean, we've been doing it for a little bit, so we try our best to make it easy on them. Same
Yeah.
sample rate, similar decibels,
Oh, okay.
all that kind of stuff. We
but
try.
At the same time, yeah, like the Sound of the City is a piano kind of ballad. We have a couple rockers with like real drums, and then there's 2 songs with the little more like digital.
Like electronic,
So
like pop
maybe
stuff.
maybe you did hate it then.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe there's an engineer out there
Yeah.
gunning for you guys.
He's
But, you
waiting
know,
outside.
He told me what he does. He's like, you don't understand. I have to listen to it in the studio. Once I put it together, before I can say it's done, I have to listen to the whole thing in my car. Then I have to listen to it on my home stereo. Then I have to listen to it on see what it sounds like if I'm listening to it, electronically. I'm like, he said,
Yeah, everywhere's different. I
yeah,
know.
because
It's like when
everywhere
you
is a
mix
different
something.
sound reproduction. So, yeah. Wanna do
They're
some more
really
music?
talented though. All the mastering stuff is
Oh.
great. When we did our first album, we actually we cut it onto tape, and then we mastered it for vinyl because we knew we were going to print it on vinyl, and that whole process was just so cool to just hear about. Like that's what they did to it. Like that's what he's doing. Like it's just so cool. And it
They
came back
have-
sounding completely different.
You were talking about Victrolas in the RCA Victor Vault. There's a place down in Camden County called the Vault. This group of young guys, like 30-somethings, bought the RCA Victor catalog from RCA Victor because they were just going to let it go. So they bought it and they turned this old building down there into like a museum/performance center. It holds about 80 people, but it's also a museum. You can actually go in there and see, because in Camden, that's where the very first vinyl record was ever pressed.
Really?
Was in New
I
Jersey
did not know that.
by RCA Victor, and they or it might have been the Victor Recording Company back then. I forget exactly, but they have a huge statue of Nipper when you walk into to the lobby, and my Victrola sitting right on top of the counter. So, but you can go there and see how they pressed vinyl records back then. These things were like huge metal washers that were heavy that compressed the
Compressed it
vinyl,
down.
and it's really a neat thing to
Yeah,
do.
it's
If you ever get a
super
chance
cool.
to gig there, or
Yeah, you're gonna have to
go
give
there.
us some of those.
Give you
lists
some of them
what you're
contacts,
talking
yeah.
about, because those sound really cool.
yeah, they got some really good stuff down there. But yeah, it's very, very, very neat.
Yeah, and
to
kids
see.
nowadays, they're never going to undernd that
Nope.
that was a thing. They're like, what do you mean? I just pressed the button on my phone,
Yep.
and I got it. It's like, no, that's not how
Like
it works.
you hit the nail on the head when you said instant gratification. Or like I like to call us, we're a microwave society.
Yeah.
You can have anything you want in 30 seconds.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'm hungry. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 minutes.
Everyone's like, why are all these kids feel so entitled?
was like-
and why are they all so spoiled? I was like, well, that's why. Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly why.
You can have anything you want.
Yep. I remember that. For like
right?
microwavable dinner and then watching Married with Children.
Yeah.
That's how I was raised. No. Hey, Chris. Chris is listening.
Is he really?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
because he texted me and I checked it out.
Oh, hey, Chris. Yeah, the other member of Levy and the Oaks.
All right,
is
where are you,
listening.
Chris?
Call in.
You got about an hour to get down here.
Ah, you should call in.
Why don't we do some more music?
Okay.
Sweet.
What you want to do for us here?
We'll do. The song is called "Slowly in the Water,"
Okay.
and it is actually not on the new one, but it's on the first LP.
First LP.
Yep.
Okay.
And we have a music video for it, so it was a single off the first album.
Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
If you're just tuning in, this is Rock On Radio. I am Danny Coleman. Engineer Art is here. Chocolatey Claire is here. We have got all kinds of things going on tonight with Levy and the Oaks. We have Lou and Levy. And 609-241-7103. We will give you Art stealing chocolate.
You can hear him.
Yeah, right.
He's-
Crinkle, crinkle.
Yeah, you can, he's
It's
very
amazing how
discreet,
hard
can you
crinkling.
tell? We will give you a copy of their yet-to-be-released CD, Sound of the City, and we got some Rock On Radio tchotchkes, and we'll do that.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Okay. The song is "Slowly in the Water." I tried singing like an angel. I came down with a broken wing. I fell asleep, passed out in a manger to feel the rush of what danger brings. I prefer the devil that is next to me to the one I do not know. Fall asleep, pass out in a manger to feel the rush of what danger knows. Slowly in the water, I started breathing. All I really needed was something to believe in. Slowly in the water, I started breathing. All I really needed was with something to believe in. Oh, 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 a big mouth, a little idea. Tell me who you're working for, I'll tell you who to fear. It's clear, you can't say nothing out here without some money grubbing lip in your ear. The chapstick, the dollar and De Niro clan. No lips, the silence of the common man who fell asleep, passed out in the manger. Slowly, slowly. Slowly in the water, I started breathing. All I really needed was something to believe in. The waves subsided as I decided all of me is changing and nothing's divided. Oh, 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 oh. Slowly in the water. Oh, 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 oh. Slowly in the water. Slowly in the water. Oh, oh, oh. Slowly in the water. Oh, oh, oh. Slowly in the water.
Levy and the Oaks here
Wow.
on Rock
Nice.
on Radio. Well, Terry in Cuba, Missouri is very impressed.
Oh,
She-
thanks
she
to
wrote-
her.
she
You're
wrote
talking
it.
to her right now.
She wrote after your first tune that you played a little bit ago. Wow, liked the song, good band. Kind of sounds like the mellower version of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Ooh, I
Man,
love
that's
them,
going
yeah.
way back.
Whoa,
Yeah, I could see
I
that.
can't say I've heard of that.
I'm gonna have to Google that one.
Oh, the Nitty Gritty
Oh,
Dirt
those
Band.
are my favorites.
Ditty.
Shows how old I am.
And
I
she
love
said
them.
she wants to hear more. Well, there you go, Terry.
You'll have to go
Just
back
gave you more.
several decades.
Yeah.
Hey, not that many.
Do you know what year it is?
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget.
So who's the principal
thanks, Terry.
songwriter there?
I come up with most of like the lyrics and I guess you would say the general push of emotion or idea.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the kind of feel. I feel like if you listen and you like the songs, then maybe you'll like me as a person. You know, like that kind of idea.
I like that.
I don't think I've ever said that before. Huh?
That's motivation.
It's very vulnerable of you.
Yeah. Hey, come hang, Terry. I know you're far, but you know.
Repeat,
But then you know.
repeat after me.
Yeah.
Kumbaya.
Yeah. That whole.
No, I get it though. I
Yeah,
get
but
it.
you know, like Lou was saying before, a lot of it is written like how we kind of play it right now, like acoustically, and we'll sit together, and you know, he'll kind of be like, for some reason, sometimes I feel like I have a lot of problems with like proper English at times. But I write things like
I'm like the editor.
Edit it, you know, and
He's like, I got this idea. I'm like, okay, cool. It's like 80% there. This is what we should do. Now it's 100. Yay!
you know, it's like,
Teamwork.
Yeah, and I
Exactly.
feel like we make a pretty good team. We've been doing it for a little bit.
yeah, I know some musicians have like that frame of mind where they're kind of like they do everything, the songwriter does everything, and then like that whole. I'm just kind of not like that. I'm kind of like I like to just organically get the
Idea.
emotion or feeling out, and then I know you know we can work on it together, and then also with you know Chris, it's everyone's kind of like
Well, now there's something.
editor and
there's something
structure changing.
and I get that, right? I mean, yeah, because I often ask the question I often ask on here is, are you a dictator or a democracy? You know, and a lot of bands, you'd be surprised how many dictators there are.
Yeah.
No, you're
Even
right.
if they say they're a
And
democracy.
sometimes they, yeah, it seems like they're not, and then you
But
you never know
as
that
far
dynamic.
as like changing lyrics and things, like you said, I mean, look at a guy like Bruce Springsteen. He's made $1 bazillion out of telling you what he did that day. You
I
know
feel
what
like
I
we were
mean?
just talking about this with somebody. Actually,
Look at country music.
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
I just talk about drinking in my truck.
Uh-huh.
And that's
But I guess it's it's relatable. You know what I mean? At a point, people like that relatable.
No, yeah, I mean that's and we were joking, you know, to a degree, or half joking, half serious about, you know, maybe if you do this, people will like you and like the music and so on and so forth. But that's exactly right. You know, that is exactly right. I write for several different entertainment magazines, and I've had people come up to me, not just one or two, but multiple people come up to me and tell me, you know why we like to read your stuff? Because you write like you talk. We can relate to it. It's like you're telling me a story, and I'm listening.
Yeah, there's no curtain.
Yeah,
it's like
there's-
this is what I would
Exactly.
say.
no facade.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, here it is, come and get it. You know, and there's something to be said for that when you're a musician, especially. You know, a lot of guys or women or whatever, songwriters, they tend to become chameleons. You know, and look, the 1960s was rife with it. You know, Motown, and the 1950s. You know, they had the same group of musicians playing the same music.
Yeah, for all different. All
Yes.
different
You know,
sounds, yeah.
and
All
for
the
just
studio.
different artists, and it was like cookie cutter. You know, as soon as Taylor Swift came out, every young girl in this country wanted to sound like Taylor Swift. You know, now I don't know what it is that they got, especially with the women vocalists, with this breathy type of singing.
Yeah, you know, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Two.
Yeah, they all kind of have very similar.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I don't know whether to get them.
I feel like almost like Rihanna was one
The
of the first that
acoustic
sounded
guitar
like
sales
that.
went through the roof when
She's
Taylor
like-
Swift came out, though, and that's
Exactly.
really cool.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of girls picked up an acoustic guitar and
And
started
that's
playing
great.
music.
And
Yeah,
that's
my
great,
girls did.
but-
Yeah, that's
See?
and that's awesome.
Aha.
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 Yes.
But I guess radio always kind of has like follows some sort of trend.
Oh.
They hit on
yeah.
something and they're like, you know what? Let's get a lot of breathy.
And then they
girls
become
popping.
cookie cutters. But what happens
They
is
take
I
no
just-
risks.
Exactly. And I think now you have a generation of new artists that all wind up sounding the same anyway. You know?
Because they get signed and they get sent to the same producers.
Yep, exactly.
It's the same people writing and recording all the songs.
Yeah, and sometimes it's tough when you're thrown into that situation to really like stick to your guns
And
when
say,
you're.
Yeah, what are you going to say?
Do you
No?
want to sit at
Right.
home
Like,
and be
and if you
original,
do,
or
you're
do you
going.
want to
Yeah.
get the chance to go out and play?
Yeah, but like,
Maybe not exactly what you want to do, but you know you get the chance to go out there and do it.
and the
So-
men are no better, man. Jack Johnson, and John Mayer. You know, they all got that mellow, you know. Then you got your surf side, like Donovan Frankenreiter and those kind of guys. And it's like, you know, come on, man. Give me something that's not,
Yeah.
you know. And I think a lot of today's singer-songwriters, they all want to save the world. You know, they all have these dark and gloomy tunes about, you know, like suffrage. When's the last time I heard somebody write something upbeat? That's why I like what you guys are doing. At least you got a little up-tempo here, you know, and it's great.
Oh, thank you.
And I think
feel like
there's-
our lyrics
Those
could
are probably two of our most minor songs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I was gonna say our
Next
lyrics
song
get a
will,
little
like,
little deep. But
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. You know, there has to be like, even though like sometimes I think a lot of people do relate and they want to listen to music when they're like kind of feeling sad or whatever. But yeah, we always like to kind of give you the
Real
give
life.
you that, but then you know, kind
Yeah.
of give you a little hope of like a good movie.
Right.
A good movie usually ends on some sort of positive.
On a high
like,
note.
Yeah, like I've
Yeah.
learned something, kind of, not just like you're just telling me how depressed you are. Like,
Exactly.
you know.
which
You
we're
know.
still doing, but we're just
I'm
doing
still-
it in a
I'm still
happier
doing,
medium.
In the happier
Yeah.
medium.
We're just saying I'm gonna
Wrapping it
be
happy.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I think music is a lot like, you know, relationships. And what I mean by that is, and I know you're rolling your eyes already, probably.
I did not.
I was looking right at her. She didn't roll her
Didn't
eyes.
roll. Thank you.
She's not a fan of
She will-
relationships.
She will be.
Exactly.
It's like a revolving door. No.
No. Okay. When's the last time?
I was starting to say something about sushi, so I was totally lost.
When's the last time you turned on the radio or listened to a band, and you were attracted by the lyrics first? Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
Good
Silence.
you know what?
question.
Probably.
Unless it's spoken word.
Vita La Vida, I think Coldplay. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
I think that's really like a really nice lyrical.
Yeah, but
really
the
pop.
melody of the music is what you
Catches.
when you turned it on, you said,
No, you're right.
"Oh,
yeah.
what's this?
Dun, dun,
Let me
dun,
listen to this."
dun, dun,
Then
dun,
you
dun,
listen
dun,
to the
dun,
lyric.
dun, dun,
Right.
dun, yeah. And I still don't know all the lyrics.
Right. Correct. You know, it's kind of like Inagata Davida. Nobody knows the lyrics to
Nobody.
Inagata Davida. But then you
Yeah,
turn around.
but if you went into a studio and was like, "Hey, I want to start this song just with the vocals," they'd be like, "You're crazy! Like, what are you doing? It's got to start with the music, right?"
well, well, maybe not, because there's plenty of great tunes that have started with just a cappella vocals, you know?
But do you think then that it's the masses that are stupid and that don't want to listen to anything somewhat like, not even intellectual, but like something with a point? Or is it vice versa, that the people that put that stuff on the radio, they don't want to give anybody
what-
anything
what
worth
comes
really
first?
thinking
they,
about?
they,
chicken
they
or egg?
play on the radio what people want to, have a demand
What
for.
people request,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I work in a hospital by day, and I I turn around and we only get one station where I'm located because of the configuration of the building and the equipment and things, and I hear one station a day, same station. I hear the same song 3 times within an hour and a half. 3 times.
I mean, yeah. And any given of those major
Is it a
radio
pop?
stations,
Yeah.
Pop one?
WPST.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, all the time. My kids are constantly changing the channel on the
Right.
car radio, and
it's
you hear the
it's
same ones over and
yeah.
over
And
again.
sometimes it's weird that they're all the
Yeah.
same song on the same one at the same time.
Yeah,
Right.
is
Yeah,
weird.
you switch from one to another, and
Yeah,
you're
it's
like,
the same
I thought you
song.
switched. No.
Yeah.
Which really stinks unless you're that artist that's on all 3 radio stations.
That's
'Cause
true.
then I probably wouldn't complain too much.
See, but I think the spoken word movement there's an intelligence to this generation because they like the spoken word. That whole exploded, didn't it? I mean, my generation never had spoken word and all that. That's more
Yeah.
lyrics without the
It's true.
music.
But then I guess if you're thinking about like somebody like Kendrick Lamar or like a rapper that has a little bit more freedom of like if you like rap or not, but he's somebody that's kind of on mainstream radio that gets to say a lot of like legit things, and it's not rock and roll, but it's that, you know what I mean, that kind of. And although that music kind of has some of the most ridiculous lyrics, but at the same time,
They
it's-
have to rhyme.
Right. But my whole point is, you're not going to listen to a song. Something's not going to catch your ear because of what the words are. The beat and the rhythm and the melody is what's going to make you say, I'll give you an example. My generation, a song like AC/DC. Okay, You Shook Me All Night Long. You hear the guitar at the beginning, all right, what's this? And then you hear that beat come in, or Highway to Hell, something that's
Yeah,
just like,
yep.
da-da-da. It's like, whoa, what's this? And he hasn't said a word yet, and this is how I compared it to like relationships. And I don't care who you are or what you do, but when you meet somebody, the first thing you notice is aesthetic. Is
you have
is
to.
visual.
Yeah,
It's
what they
not
look like.
because you don't know what's underneath that skin. Beauty is only skin deep. Okay, well, what's going to make me find that out? Because obviously I find you physically
Yes.
attractive, or there's something about you that I want to get to know.
Yeah.
And that can come through many different ways. And in music, I think it's the same thing.
So you're saying the melody is that.
Yeah,
Before you
pretty-
listen to
exactly.
the words, you got to feel the groove.
Well, you're right too, because
There's-
even like
Well,
Smells
that's what
Like
I'm
Teen
saying is
Spirit,
what's noticed
Nirvana,
first.
Yeah.
Right.
biggest song like ever. It's all.
Yeah,
You
I
just
mean,
feel it.
boom.
You know,
Yep.
you like that feeling. Yeah.
Before he sang a word.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to do some more music.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's
Should
do it.
we play live or?
Whatever you want to do. Art's set up for both, so we can do that. Well, while you're
Do
contemplating,
you want a happy song or a sad song?
doesn't matter. I want Levy and the Oaks. Levy,
Raw.
Levy, Levy.
Um,
That's that crowd again, Art.
I'm in standard too.
I mean, you can do Obsessive
Of
Love.
one. Majority
Oh.
of one?
Maybe. 609-241-7103. Oh, we're going to go live again?
Yeah.
Okay,
We got a music
nice.
video for this one, too. It's
Do ya?
called Obsessive Love.
What's your YouTube channel?
Levy and the Oaks.
Okay.
Yeah, youtube.com.
Ampersand or and?
And.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to stay away from the ampersand because it's difficult to type.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw
We
it
had it
both
for-
ways.
yeah,
That's
we had
why
it for a
I-
little
Yeah,
bit, and
it's
I was
because
like, eh.
people get creative with us, and that's okay. As long, it's totally cool.
There you
But
go.
all of our stuff, it's the word and, the article.
Well, the guy who wrote my theme song and is an incredible musician himself, a fellow by the name of Charles Larita, Charles has a band called The Mischief. So it's Charles Lorita ampersand The Mischief, and he's very specific about the ampersand. So you know who did it.
Now, can you
Yeah,
put
it's
in an ampersand on like iTunes and Spotify and whatnot?
I
See
don't
how-
think so.
Yeah, that's what.
'cause
That's,
didn't we try?
Yeah, yeah I think we
They
tried.
like only formatted
Right.
the way that
Yeah.
they
So I
wanted
think he
it,
just
yeah.
does Charles Lorita The Mischief.
Gotcha.
Or Mischief.
Oh, okay, so
yeah.
no and at all.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do for us?
Right. The song is called "Obsessive Love."
Yep.
Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. First act, a tire swing, clear skies and budding trees. Starts the movie of you and me, long ago with a director that never showed. We were never scripted, ad-libbed and livid. As far as crew members go, the stars held the light for the drama below. We rehearsed in marigolds. We knew it was classic, something that never gets old. It's obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell in this heaven above. Obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell, this heaven above. Be my prescription, my doctor in medicine. Quarantined in the city of Rome, infesting the alleys with our love and our poems. We rehearsed in marigolds. We knew it was classic, something that never gets old. It's obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell in this heaven above. Obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell, this heaven above. In last act, a limousine, we lived out all our dreams. Ends the movie, you and me, long ago with a director that never showed. It's obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell in this heaven above. Obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell, this heaven above. It's obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell in this heaven above. Obsessive love, it's more than peace and doves. There's a little hell, this heaven above. There's a little hell in this heaven above. Yeah, there's a little hell in this heaven above.
There you go, Levy and the Oaks. I was trying to tweet before they were done, but
Gotta tweet faster.
I do. Levy and the Oaks live right here on Rock On Radio. Again, give us a call, 609-241-7103. We'll give you a copy of the album that's coming out this Friday, being released, Levy and the Oaks, Sound of the City. And we'll give you some Rock On Radio bumper stickers, pens, Rock On Radio lube. We have all kinds of things. Yes, we have lube.
Do you really?
Yes, it's
It's
Dial hand lotion.
hand lotion.
Oh, I knew that.
But in the words of my my old friend Dave McMahon, we are the only radio show that leaves you softer than when you got here. So take it for what that means.
Nice tagline.
Yeah, it is. But that's my yes, I have that. Come Monday, we got new merch.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's coming in?
Coffee mugs. Rock on Radio coffee
Nice.
mugs.
Coffee mugs are always good.
See?
Cool.
People use them.
Yeah, they
And then
do.
maybe they'll call in for one. Or you would not get one. They're
I'm
for
not-
us.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, they're for us. Actually, I would like to give away that they're going to be mostly for the Rock on Radio happy hours.
Nice.
Which our next one is in September, the second Wednesday in September.
Nice.
With Jerry Monk
Spread the
hosting
word.
the open mic.
Oh, is he
afterwards.
doing it too? Oh, so nice.
It's his turn. He with his son, he alternates.
Nice.
So, hey, we got a caller. Hello, welcome to Rock on Radio. Who's this?
Hi, Danny. This is Terry.
There she is.
Yay,
Hey, Terry.
Michigan.
You like these guys, huh, Ter?
You convinced me. I love this band and I love their music.
Oh, thanks.
you go.
Thank you so much.
Terry.
So you've got a CD coming to
Woo-hoo.
you, Terry.
All right.
You're still in
Takes
Cuba.
me back to that era that I love so much, and I love the sound and I love the lyrics to your music. I've been listening to it, so.
Oh, great. Great. And you're in Missouri, right? Is that what you said?
Oh, Missouri.
Yep, I'm in Cuba, Missouri, about 55 miles east of St. Louis.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we used to
thanks so
play
much.
over there like a bunch. Not for
west
a
of St.
couple
Louis,
of years,
sorry.
but
Hi, Danny. This is Terry. There she is.
Terry, you got to turn your computer down.
I got a question now.
Go ahead.
What are some of the bands or something that influenced you into the music you do? Do you have any special influences?
Yeah, you want to go first?
well, I'm a huge Beatles fan. I like Neil Young.
Yep. I like The Who,
No, I
Simon
wanna
and
know who
Garfunkel.
influenced, what are some of your influences in your music, the way, you do the sound, the music, the lyrics? Do you have any special influences in music?
Wait, hold on, guys, before you answer that. Terry, you have to shut your computer down or you have to lower the volume because you're bleeding through with the delay. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Okay,
1.
I got the sound off.
There you go. Perfect. Now we can turn you back up. All right, go ahead. All right, influences.
I mean, I guess, yeah, we do like a lot of classic rock kind of stuff. Like you were saying before, the Eagles, we do, when we have the other guys, we do a lot more like 3-part harmony.
Yeah.
So I really like that kind of sound of the 3-part rock and roll kind of.
I always loved
It's loud,
Simon and
but it's still
Garfunkel,
kind
too.
of like
Did you?
tight.
Yeah.
Nice.
Simon and Garfunkel? Okay. Excellent. Good question,
Yeah.
Ter.
Also influenced like big like early '90s grunge kind of fan. So we kind of when we play full band, you can kind of hear that a little bit more. A little
Comes
like,
through a little
more
bit.
aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How about you,
Cool.
Lou?
Yeah, so Simon and Garfunkel, so I'm huge into the harmonies. So I always loved Simon
Yeah, I'm
and
a
Garfunkel.
60s child, so I'm into all that stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so was my dad. So yeah, the music's great, and it's funny that I bring him up because he always looks at me and he's like, man. He looks at the band. He's like, "You guys were born in the wrong time."
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's like you had me at the wrong time, man.
yeah, like, whose fault is that?
You should have had me when you were 15.
Yeah, right? Wow.
But yeah, and the Beatles, obviously. I mean, you can't avoid that.
Yeah,
So
this is true.
Yeah.
Very true. All right, Ter. Well, I will send you. Now, I know I've got your address, but it's been a while, so send it to me again so I don't have to go back through God knows how many messages to find it. Send me your
All right.
address out there in Cuba, and we'll send you some of the new Rock on Radio merchandise, my friend.
awesome.
All right, Danny.
All right,
thanks,
Ter.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Rock on. There you go. See? Terry's been listening to this program probably for 7 of the 9 years it's been
Really?
on.
That's
That's so
amazing.
cool.
Hey.
Tuning in.
And unless she has technical issues out there where she's lost internet or something, she tunes in every Sunday. So you have a fan in Missouri.
Tornado came along.
Tornadoes, yeah, out there.
Don't say that.
Anthem.
Yeah, we had a friend
Kansas.
in we had a friend in Kalamazoo,
close,
which I think
ain't
is not far from there. So we
Kalamazoo, Michigan?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
so she's yeah, she started in a town called Rolla, R-O-L-O-A, Rolla, Missouri, or Missouri, however they pronounce it.
Yeah,
out
right.
there.
They say like
My girlfriend's in Washington, Missouri.
Oh,
We were just out there.
you're out of control.
I was.
Have I been saying it wrong my whole life?
Missouri?
Yeah.
Missouri.
It's
They say
Missouri?
Missouri. Missouri.
Yeah, it depends on who you talk. It's, again,
Yeah.
there's that whole local dialect, Newark or Newark.
Right? You say Cuba, so.
Right? Cuba. A little taste of Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba, Missouri.
Cuba. That's right. And she says Cuba.
And you say
Oh,
Cuba.
so I'm going to go with her.
Yeah, I thought she was calling from very far away. I was like,
Yeah,
"You're in
right.
Cuba? That's awesome."
That might actually be close.
Is it close
Missouri,
enough?
maybe.
Yeah, man.
I don't
Her
know.
real name is Terryissimo. So, yeah, but she has a good point. I mean, you know, the stuff that your parents grew up listening to, you know, tends to permeate.
Yeah,
who
I
you
guess we were
are,
pretty
you
lucky
know?
that our parents had a good taste in music, so we're not gonna hate.
Well, you know, it's funny when my mother, and I've often told this story. She listened to three actually, two artists mainly though, were Elvis Presley and Creedence Clearwater Revival. And if I knew she was cleaning the house, it was Creedence. So I knew to stay out of the way, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then when I was about 10 or 11 years old, she gave me boxes of her 45 records. And I remember the first one I pulled out was by an artist by the name of Gary U.S. Bonds. And it was a song called Quarter to Three, which was a big hit for him. And he go 40 years later, and because of the wonder of this program, and I'm interviewing Gary U.S. Bonds. So it was like, took me back to
That's
when I was
cool.
12. You know, and then this past week I interviewed Stu Cook of Creedence Clearwater, and it was like, yeah, this is like my childhood, you know. And I've actually done a gig with U.S. Bonds too, so it was,
cool.
you know, it was like, you know, my mother's like, I can't believe that you know, I listened to him when I was a kid, you know. He's 75.
So you know your mother was cleaning when Clearance Clearwater came
Yeah.
on? So I knew my mom was in a great mood when like the Beach Boys came on. I
See?
was like, life is good. The Beach Boys are on. This is great.
See,
What
for
was the
her-
bad? What was the bad mood one?
Yeah.
See, I think
know,
when
right?
I don't think there
That'd
was
be more
music
important
when
to
there was
me.
Black Sabbath. No.
Yeah,
Oh
I think the
Just
record
listening
player
to
was
Black
off
Sabbath.
when there was in a bad
No
mood.
music.
The good mood one for my
Silence.
mother was Elvis,
Okay.
and when she was sad or depressed, it was Tammy Wynette. Go figure.
Ooh.
So,
No, that makes sense.
yeah, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Choke me up.
Yes.
It's all that chocolate.
He's been pretty good. We're the ones that I've never.
Yeah, right.
I don't usually.
You're right.
even-
He hasn't eaten any of
It's
the
an
chocolate.
effect of the orange in the chocolate.
Yeah, it is.
Have you guys done much radio?
We've done a few shows like this.
Yeah.
A couple things.
What have you done?
We did.
Well, I guess you did Tom's show,
We
right,
did
on the
Tom
rack?
show. We did.
We've gone the Monmouth.
bunch of like college radio.
Yeah. Rutgers.
Did
Oh, who'd you sit in with the Rutgers?
Good question.
Jack?
Yes.
You know Jack?
I don't know Jack.
No.
He don't know Jack.
You know.
I don't know Jack.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
I'm very friendly with him.
We go way back.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But yeah, nothing too crazy. You know.
Okay.
You know, like some people ask us to do like podcasts and stuff like that.
Mhm. That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. I mean, you know, sometimes people are, you know, they're okay with it. Other times they're not really okay with it.
As in, like, nervous or?
Yeah, you know,
It could be when you go live for anything. I think sometimes it could be kind of weird. Like all of a sudden you're just like, uh-oh, like now I gotta do it.
If you're just tuning in, this is Rock on Radio. We have Lou and Levy from Levy the Oaks, and they will be playing the second annual Making Waves Roots Fest at the Asbury Park Brewery come August 11th.
Mm-hmm.
It's located at 810 Sewell Avenue in Asbury Park. So,
Yeah.
how long's your set? There's 4 or 5 bands. So
A Bob show? I'm not sure. Probably like 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
guys do anything other than showcases? I mean, do you headline, like where you got a 2-hour set? and-
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yep.
depends. Sometimes we'll throw like originals and covers. You know, if it's gotta like take up the time.
We've gotten hired for many an odd gigs.
Putting
What's
that
the
out?
oddest one
Yeah.
you ever did?
It may be coming up. We are. Yeah, the oddest one we ever did is coming up shortly.
You
It's
hear
gonna-
that, Macon?
No. It's going to be at a camp
Oh,
for a
he's
bunch of
calling in.
kindergartners, so we have to learn some preschool and kindergarten
Cool.
music. So that's going to be pretty interesting.
All right.
Look
I
up
want
the
to
Wiggles.
hear your version of the Wiggles.
The Wiggles, right? Exactly.
That reminds me, there's a comedian.
It's gonna have the beautiful harmonies in it.
We played in a post
They
office.
do,
once.
actually.
Did you?
Yeah,
Right,
do.
Yeah, we were on tour. We played
Fruit
a post
salad.
office.
I remember when I was with the band, we played on the floor of the Stock Exchange in New York City.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was
That's cool.
awesome.
Man, we played There is always some weird places to play.
That was a weird place to play.
Yeah, I played once at a place that would look like a wrestling rink. There was a wrestling rink in it. I don't think that was with
I think
you.
that was with me,
It was
no.
somewhere upstate New York. Where like played the show and then we're done, and they had like midget wrestling
Nice.
right after us. Like right after us
In
playing.
Summers Point, you have the Greek restaurant in the front and nightclub
Or
in
a
the
little
back.
person.
Oh, you were just telling me about that on Friday. Yeah, I mean, it's some of the weirdest gigs. I mean, it's pretty funny, you know. I mean, I played in a supermarket. I played in, they literally, a supermarket decided they wanted to try drawing people in. And when you walked into the produce section. And they had you set up in the produce
Better
section.
produce.
Oh man,
And I'm like,
well, that's like the Walmart kid.
Better than next to the Charmin.
That kid got famous singing in Walmart.
right? So I mean,
They're
you know,
awesome.
do I really want to hear music while I'm picking out kumquats? I mean, I don't know.
No, I really want to hear it while I'm choosing toilet paper.
So you know, it's
But to answer your question, yeah, I mean we've done some specialty nights at the Stone Pony as well. We'll do an 80s set. We'll dress up and put on makeup and just do like a whole night of the 80s. We did a Foo Fighters set. Like we'll do some cool stuff once in a while, for sure.
because that's the thing today. You know, there's not many. Well, you know, original music is tough anyway to sell. Thank God for towns like Asbury Park and
Yeah,
the
well,
such.
it's a
who-
whole-
Well, we're playing an hour on Friday at the Asbury Lanes.
Right,
So
that's what I'm
it's gonna
saying.
be cool, yeah.
But you know,
Is that really a bowling lanes in there as well?
yeah.
So there are I believe 4 lanes left in the corner.
Is there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't play any quiet songs because you're just gonna
Yeah, right.
strikes in the background.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I forget where I was going with that. Oh, wait, I just the thought train was derailed there for a minute. Because, you know, as an original artist, you're almost forced to put 3, 4, 5 acts on the same bill, and everybody does one showcase set.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, in a way, I think a lot of original bands are kind of cutting their own, you know, nose off to spite their face by doing this. And I understand that when you play places like the Saint and things, you know, he wants 3, 4, 5 bands on a bill because that way there's more people.
Yeah, they all
You
draw.
figure if you're in a place like the Saint, which is very small, you know, if each band brought 10 people, there's 50 people. You know, you're wall to wall in there.
Yeah. With all the band members, you're at like 100 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. So, you know, so ownership's happy, everybody's happy. But when you start going to do different gigs and things where you've got like, you know, 3, 4, 5 bands on a set, I think now you're running into where you're kind of, you know, how are you as a band going to go out and say, here's our stuff, if you only get 40 minutes? If you only get a half hour, if you only get 45 minutes,
Yeah,
how are you
yeah.
going to say how are you going to gain the following that you need?
So if the bands that we're playing with bring all of their fans and they don't know who we are, maybe then their fans become our fans.
That's a great idea
Yeah.
in theory.
In theory.
But I guess that is always the hard thing. Like, how do you separate yourself from every other band?
But you don't know how many. I mean, you know, you could get 2 new fans, or you could get 40 new fans. You don't really
Yeah.
know, but you have to take that shot, right?
Well, I always said that
Definitely.
if I could get one, you know, if I can, from this show, if it results in one new fan, and it did, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
Or one new we'll add her to the list, or one more CD sale, or one more person hitting on your website or your Facebook page, then I've succeeded in what I had to do.
Yeah, yeah. Because
you
we've
know-
played shows where there's like 100 people there, and maybe nobody even talks to us or even wants the
Right.
record or anything. And then like yesterday, we played in New York City, like a smaller venue, not too many people. We sell like more merch and records than we've sold. You know what I mean? At a show with like 100 people. So
Right.
it is kind of never
Right.
really know.
You know, when I was a young musician, you played from 9 to 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
That was it. You did 4 sets, 4 hours.
Yep.
You know, Art was with the Grease Band. Them guys played forever, all the time.
Till 4 in the morning.
Yeah. So, you
That was
know, as a
cool.
musician, you had to work a lot longer.
Yeah. You mentioned
really working,
You mentioned
yeah.
residencies
We
earlier
did
on.
like 4 45-minute shows. I think.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome. And you were saying how back in the day you did the residency, but eventually people would not show up. It's the opposite now, where if you had a residency at the same time, at the same place, the same day, once a week, first week, a few people there. Next week, they tell their friends, they bring a little bit more, then they bring a little bit more, then they bring a little bit more. At the end of a 2-month residential run, like, you should be packing out that room.
You
know?
should be.
Yeah.
In theory.
In theory.
Yeah.
And I would love to do that. So if anybody wants to hire Levy and the
Let's
Oaks
test that out.
for residency, we
Actually,
are available.
I don't even think that that's a concept that really is around much anymore. You know,
Well,
like
it's
we had
not.
our schedule. Like
Yeah.
Mondays we were here, Wednesdays we were here, Thursdays we were
Yeah.
here, Saturdays and Sundays we were here. You know, Tuesdays and Fridays nobody wanted us. They were like,
That's when
Friday
you
we don't need
sleep.
you. You know.
Well, and the thing is, though, that you have to understand when I was a young musician, things were a lot different. There were no drunk driving laws. There were no cigarette bans. There were no or smoking bans.
That was a long time ago.
Exactly.
Yes, it
when
was.
dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
they
seen
could- they
it.
could smoke inside.
Flintstones. Yeah,
know.
definitely.
Oh, ouch, the Flintstones.
You said dinosaurs.
That's when the cops used to come out to
Followed
the
it up.
So
nightclubs.
you know,
They'd be
there
there.
were, and in Trenton where I played, there was a bar on every corner. It was almost like South Amboy, you know, where there was a bar on
There
every
still
corner.
is. You just don't want to go in half of them.
Exactly.
It's true. South
And they
Amboy.
don't have live music. So, you know, there was always somewhere to go to hear music.
Yeah, I
You
guess
know-
now they got DJs. The concept of just you have to supply the actual live band is a little.
I mean,
yeah,
it just
not
seems
so
like
much.
here in Hamilton, though, like live music is kind of sort of coming back. Like I see Diamonds is offering live
Yeah.
entertainment
Yep.
starting, I think,
Right.
like this week.
There's a reason why we
No,
live
they-
in Asbury Park.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where we want. That's
Well,
where we
it
want
welcomes
to be.
original artists.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and this area down here does not.
I know
for
it's
the
like you
most
only
part.
go like 30
Right.
minutes, and yeah, there's really
Exactly.
people don't have an outlet like of clubs or. Stuff
Other
like
than the
that.
places we talked about
Yeah.
before we went on the
And there
air.
used to be so many.
There's like a half
Like,
a dozen
even
here
when
in
I
the
was
Trenton
younger, there were so
area,
many more.
Right.
at best.
You can catch them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah, I know people who play like in Trenton and stuff.
Well, let's do more music. There's
Okay,
there's
should
two
we-
two venues
wanna
in
play something
Trenton.
from
Sure.
Sure. Which
Let's
one?
Play, Happiness is Easy.
Okay.
Sure.
When
There's
have we
two
done-
venues in Trenton that are very that are very music friendly, original music friendly. The Mill Hill Basement and Champs Bar and Grill, Championship Sports Bar and Grill.
Cool.
That's more of a metal club. The Mill Hill is more of a new, more of
So
a
the
punk.
sports bar is a metal club?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, it used to be a restaurant when I was a kid. As a kid, it was a restaurant called Bartolini's, because I grew up literally about 4 blocks from it, and then it became Championship Sports Bar and Grill, and they turned it more into like a metal club now,
Gotcha.
hardcore metal. You know, they have all ages shows, but there in the Mill Hill Basement, they're really the only two that I can think of. Well, I know I'm forgetting.
So we
one
can catch
more,
you
but-
there every Friday night? Is that where you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I dress up like Gene Simmons and go in there and mosh. And mosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Really just want to hit somebody.
The visuals.
Now that you
just
mention it, your
too
tongue
much.
does seem very long.
that?
Yeah, you got a really long tongue.
That visual ruined me for life.
So, you ready there, Art?
I am.
All right, what's this one about?
This one, song's called "Happiness Is Easy," and this one was written. I think it's kind of about again, sometimes being dragged through changes that you don't have much to say about them,
Nor control
nor
over.
control. And that's sometimes
Yeah. So how are you going to come out of a certain situation, you know, that you weren't planning on being in? Are you going to come out of it? Are you going to be able to smile again? Are you not? That's kind of...
I have an ex-girlfriend who used to keep on her refrigerator a magnet that said, it's not what happens to us, but our reaction to it that matters the most.
That's exactly kind of the point, yeah. Where it's, I think sometimes in life things just happen to you and you don't really have too much say in besides how you actually are going to be
How you
the
recover.
human after it, you know?
Mhm. There you go. All right, well, if you're just tuning in, this is Levy and the Oaks, and this is their song called
Happiness is easy.
Rock on Radio.
Oh, what a scary feeling. if you can forget. In the street, the march is tapping, moving forward like a crippled Fred Astaire. But me, I stand for nothing. I'm protesting, protest, so you'll never see me there. I was dragged through life's changes. I was told to get over it. Get used to the hands around my neck. Happiness is easy if you can forget. Happiness is easy if you can forget. Yeah, happiness is easy. My blood runs hot, it's thicker than the wine. My black lies black and blue. We were made to break, and I'm out of glue. A martyr for the gospel of you. I was dragged through life's changes. I was told to get over it. Get used to the hands around my neck. Happiness is easy if you can forget. Happiness is easy if you can forget. Happiness is easy. Happiness is easy. Yeah, happiness is easy. Happiness is easy.
There we go. We're back. Levy and the Oaks. We have Lou and Levy themselves right here in studio. Can I go out on a limb there a little bit? A little Coldplay influence in that one?
I
Little
see
bit?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
that sound with the keys at the beginning.
Yeah, little piano. Yeah, that's actually our buddy Vinny, who was in the band Socratic with us.
Okay.
He lives in North Carolina now, but he was up, and we were writing that song, and we were like, "Hey, he's a really good pianist." That's right?
Yes.
And he played
Keys.
Say that 10 times. real
Keys.
fast.
He's good on keys.
So he played the piano. He's really good.
Yeah. Funny story with that song. We when we first recorded it, like that night, it was a lot slower and a lot of sad. And then next thing you know, we sped it up and we were like, oh, like this song's not that sad anymore. This is a pretty happy song.
There you go.
Is it?
Well, you know,
Happy enough.
compared to when it was really slow.
Yeah, well, I get it. I get it. Sometimes you have to save the world with your music.
Yeah.
And other times you really just got to dance, So, that was pretty deep for me.
Wow. Did you get that?
That's
Did you write that
a
down?
quote right
What was that
there,
again?
Yeah.
You got to write that quote down?
Sometimes you gotta
that
save the
quote?
world, but sometimes
You got to dance.
you just gotta dance.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's a good shirt.
Sometimes
Good
you got to
t-shirt.
save the world with music. Sometimes you just got to dance.
I like it. I won't take it.
Yeah.
No, you can use it.
We'll just tweak it a little bit and then say it's ours.
That's right. That's all. You
Yeah.
do whatever you got to do. Just mention me in a song, kind of like Neil Young with Leonard Skinner. You know?
Yeah. Throw your name in there.
We could just make you an oak. You want to be an oak?
Sure, I'll be an oak.
All right, great. You guys all want to be oaks?
Yeah.
Acorns? Can we be acorns?
We are the mighty oak.
You could be a massive
That's
tree,
like
or
your
you
fan
could be
club
the
are called the
acorn.
Acorns.
Oh, that's
Right?
actually pretty good.
Thank you. And you can use that without. You don't have to quote me or anything. I'm okay.
She doesn't want any.
She really
doesn't want any,
I don't need any credit for that.
She's trying to remain anonymous.
Exactly. Just think of me when you call your fan
I
base
actually-
the Acorns.
I actually don't even know her real name. She comes here with like an alias every week. So.
I do. No, you give me an alias every week.
Oh, is that how
Get
it works?
something else
Would you
going
go
on.
Chocolatey Claire?
Yeah,
Sir.
that's me.
It is Shark Week.
It is Shark Week.
Yeah, I thought that
Scary.
was like the hallway.
Actually, I have an announcement to make.
Oh, drum roll.
No.
Oh.
Or you
Good.
can. Go ahead if you want there. You're feeling...
There you go.
Well, that's pretty good.
He's percussion.
Oh, no, it's nice. And most people be like banging real loud on the table. He just nice and
Nice
good
and
vibe,
sharp.
good touch.
Well, thank you so
good
much.
use of dynamics.
I'm a professional.
There you go. Desk drummer.
He's an oak.
Starting next week, August 5th, there will be a before and an after Rock On Radio show.
Nice.
The name has yet to be decided.
Yes, we haven't decided
Yes.
what we're going to call it yet, but I will be doing a live half-hour interview with an artist between 6 and 6:30, and then again between 9:30 and 10.
Nice.
So there's a half-hour break, so you guys can, after you're done, ungluing yourself from your stereos and computers, because I know you're riveted to them right now, listening to Rock On Radio. You can either tune in before with a half-hour
And
break,
or.
and or both after.
Rock On
And,
Radio Revisited.
There you go. The replay session.
And we'll put them up on
Pre-play
demand.
and
too.
replay.
And we will. These will be live interviews. I don't know how many are going to get done. It could be every other Sunday. It will be when the company, it's a PR company, is sending them to me and they're asking me to interview their artists. So that
Who are the
begins next
artists?
week.
Do you know? Or?
I could tell you in a second, actually. It's a little...
It's harking back to his hosiery.
Yeah,
he
he's got all
was,
the-
he was heralding.
It's a little
I was
out
at
of-
Renaissance Fair today.
Cool.
next
yeah, still feeling it.
Sunday at 6 p.m. we have Top CXT, and then at 9:30 we have Zendon Levon.
Nice.
We'll be calling in and we'll be talking to them and finding out about their music and what they have going on, and something new here at Rock
Neat.
On Radio. We got merch. We've got
Podcasts.
We're out of control
Yes.
again.
Crazy.
Yeah, you guys
You're
really
drumming
gotta,
again and
doing a lot.
everything.
you guys really got to tone it down.
You're right.
They're
you know?
party animals.
Yeah, it's too much.
Right.
Yeah, you're cut from the chocolate.
Yeah, no more chocolate. Too much sugar.
You gotta drive home.
And that's something else well, I'll
Long
wait.
drive.
I'll wait till the end of the
Yeah.
show before we do that.
drive,
But,
Tell them I'm going to get through it.
so other than the Making Waves thing, what do you have coming up for gigs again? And
So-
websites one more time?
All right, so we got the big one this Friday. The album comes out at the Asbury Lanes. Then we're going to have the Making Waves on the 11th at the Asbury Park Brewery. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play the Langosta Lounge on the 25th of August in Asbury Park. On the 29th, we're going to be on the beach in Asbury playing some music, so that should be fun.
Is that the songwriter series?
Asbury Park Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on in Asbury, but that'll be cool because we'll be on the beach. And yeah, other than that, the new album, like I said, is out Friday. You can pre-order it today or tonight or whenever you're listening to this on iTunes. Unless you're listening to us after Friday, then you can just purchase it on iTunes or stream it on Spotify, SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram.
On the Facebook.
There's some very nice pictures of Levy on our Instagram, actually.
Are there
Very
links?
nice.
Are there links back to all that from your website?
Ooh, you know what? Thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot we had a website. LevyandTheOaks.com. LevyandTheOaks.com.
Yeah,
And everything's there, right? So you can find
Everything
everything
is there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the one you need to remember.
There you go.
There you go.
He's so smart.
That's-
we're
he
gonna
is.
take him on the road with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm useful once in a while.
Yeah.
Art is a wealth of knowledge.
No, you're right.
I'm a wealth of
Check out the website.
useless knowledge. That's what.
We'd kill at Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, I'm terrible
little
at that.
facts.
Yeah, right.
You don't want me as your partner in that.
Hey, that's better than Pictionary. Anyway,
Sounds like two syllables.
Yeah. It's like, I think
games
it's
of
fine.
charades. So this is coming out. Now, I had a band in here several weeks ago who told me, yeah, we're releasing this disc tomorrow, but we've already got enough written for the next one. How do you guys operate?
Very similarly.
I mean, I feel like it's just kind of when it happens. We already have like a bunch of like new songs,
Yep.
but sometimes you don't want to just like completely jump the gun of like, we should probably focus on what's coming out. Because I feel like by the time something comes out, those songs are old to us. They're new to everybody else, but they're old to us. But yeah, we usually, whenever they come out, we try and demo them and at least like hold on to them. So we're not scrambling when we want to put out a new record.
Yeah. But to answer your question, we're going into the studio next weekend. So
There you have it. How old were you guys when you went in the studio for the first time?
When we first time in the
first
studio.
time,
That was
Not
probably, like,
as a band, but you as a musician.
I was a freshman in high school. I was 13.
yeah, probably same age. First time I recorded, yeah, like 14, 13,
Yeah.
14 probably.
So you were, well, no, you weren't, but I was about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
It was the summer between freshman and sophomore year of high school, and we had analog tape, 24 track analog, and I learned a lot of lessons that day. I'm not the kind of drummer that overfills, but I'm thinking, when am I ever going to get in a recording studio again? I got to make this great. So I had a lot of nervous energy, and I just
play a lot.
and I overfilled, and and it got to the point where the engineer's like, drummer, I need to see you in the studio, and he called me in, and he said, less is more, kid.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't
know.
translate onto tape.
He said,
You're right.
You're doing these great fills, but nobody knows anything. They're not going to stand out because you're doing them every chance you get.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to just lay back and just acquire a taste as for where they want to go. And
I was told once, KISS, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Like that was the rule in the
I
studio.
subscribe to that method. Yep.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid. And that's perfect because
It's
that's
a great,
how it is.
great prescription for life.
Yeah. No, it is. Really.
Yeah, sometimes, definitely.
Yeah, so I made that mistake, but the oddity is I'm still friendly with that guy, 40 years later. So
Yep. The first person I actually recorded with for real, not like a basement kind of thing, a real professional recording studio. We still record with to this day, and he's coming to my wedding, and I've formed an amazing relationship with him. He's watched me grow, and like as a musician and as a person, for so many years that he becomes like a part of your family, So
speaking of growing, we've got a big month of September
Nice.
coming up. August is booked, but September we've got some really good things happening. So
Awesome.
make sure you guys stay tuned in for that. But one of them I just booked today is somebody that's near and dear to my heart. She'll be here Labor Day weekend. Is the artist that goes by Soph.
Oh, she's coming in.
Sophia's
She's
coming
wonderful.
in because she just made a decision. No more covers. She's going strictly original.
Wow.
And she knows she's going to lose a lot of gigs, and she knows she's going to lose some fans. But she's like, I got to do this. If I'm ever going to make it in the music industry or in the music business, I have to get myself out there. So
all of a sudden you
she's-
get sucked into just
Yep.
playing covers. They'll pay you more.
well, that's exactly
But,
what it is. Yeah,
yeah,
it
you
funds a
know-
lot of our cover shows fund a lot of the Levy music.
Exactly. yeah. It's
But then at the same time, it's like always like, we do original music,
Yes,
and
yep.
we have to. We'll get paid.
Now, also in September, now she's the second, the 30th, we will have Joe Sarasano is coming in.
Nice.
And Joe Sarasano's, he was the lead singer of Black Sabbath for a day after Ozzy Osbourne quit. He sings with Blue Oyster Cult sometimes. He was the voice of Miller Beer from 1984 to 1990.
Wow.
Really?
Joe is, and he's done so many commercials and voiceovers, but he's coming into the studio, and he did one of the greatest things I've ever heard. He wanted to play original music. The club owners in New York City, where he was gigging, didn't want to hear that. They would give him a bunch of grief if he said I want to play some of my original. No, covers. I want people dancing. I want people, So he started going up on stage and saying, this is a new one from the upcoming Bob Seger album. And he would play one of his tunes. So that the guy
They
thought,
never know the
and
difference.
he never knew the difference. He said eventually they caught on, but, he got to at least put his originals out there. So, people do
Smart.
some screwy things to get what they need, You guys want to do another tune before we got about 15 minutes left before we got to
Let's
wrap
do
it
it.
up?
Sure.
Oh, we actually have a 15-minute song. Do you want us to play that one?
No.
No, we won't do that too.
Really?
Can
With
you
the
make
Sun
it?
Ra Orchestra.
Our good buddy Michael Ray. Can you do it Can you do it in like 14 minutes so I can have a minute to wrap up?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can pull that off.
Do Girls Baby? Kind of like Girls Baby.
You kind of like Girls Baby? We'll do Girls Baby.
You still have time. 609-241-7103 if you want to call in. And we'll give you a copy of Levy and the Oaks and the album that's due out this Friday. So
Cool.
it's cool.
This song's called My Girl's First Baby. Summer long past, absent of time in the bustling streets. Take a trip back into the past. Close your eyes, you can do it with ease. I never trusted that old limo driver. He picked me up since I was 10. Where to? I said everywhere. Didn't know I had to pay a fare. I can give you my girl's first baby. She didn't keep it anyway. I can give you the letter that made her feel better. She didn't read it anyway. Everybody's got a story, living life, trying to be happy. But what about me? Am I boring? I'm not good enough for news in the morning. Yeah, I'm normal. I have a box where I keep all the loves of my life. It sadly sits behind my wall. Now and then I check up on them. In those moments life's not fair. I can give you my girl's first baby. She didn't keep it anyway. I can give you the letter that made her feel better. She didn't read it anyway. Or how about a lullaby? How about a lullaby? How about a lullaby? How about a lullaby? Bye, bye, bye. In the breeze of the sunrise, absent of time in the bustling streets. Take a trip back into the past. Close your eyes, you can do it with ease. Butter in the breeze of a summer long past. Absent of time in the bustling streets. Take a trip back into the past. Close your eyes, you can do it with ease.
Levy and the Oaks here on Rock On Radio. Yes.
Woo woo.
Oh, well, you were looking at your phone like you
I
had
was just
something to
posting the
say.
pictures.
Ah,
She's checking the weather.
I was not. Later.
check the weather later.
Check it later.
Who's that, George Carlin? Tonight's weather forecast from
He's
Harry
the
the
hippy dippy weatherman.
Tonight's forecast dark.
Followed by scattered patches of light, giving way to full sun the next day.
Temperature at the airport's like 79 degrees,
Yeah,
which
right?
is stupid because I don't know anybody that lives at the airport.
It was the cleanest routine. It's the only one my mother would let me watch.
Yeah, that was
I
George.
actually have some of his records. The stand-up
They're
on the
pretty-
records.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah. Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Funny, man.
Yeah.
Then he became, what's-his-face, when Thomas the Tank, which just totally blew me away.
Oh, on that show?
He was the conductor on Thomas the
Oh,
Tank Engine.
yeah, I didn't
that
even
was
think about that.
George Carlin, the man who says the 7 words you can't say on
I
television.
like him better as the priest in Dogma.
Yeah, right?
Because
Oh, God, I forgot he was in that.
wasn't Ringo also that same role?
Yes, he did it too.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So, what is it that Levy and the Oaks expects to get out of their music? What do you guys want to do?
Well, I feel like what you were saying before, the jokes, like you want to change the world. You can't expect that.
Well, I
But
mean,
it-
some
but-
artists want licensing, some artists want to tour the world, some just want to stick to their local thing.
Yeah, I
And
mean, well, what answer do you want? Because they're all kind of true.
Yeah.
Whatever-
I
whatever-
mean, I would
whatever
love-
day it is.
I would love to tour the world. Like, we toured before, but
Yeah.
like we'd love to
So
see the world and tour places and have people come.
If you're
and
in
actually
this
enjoy the music.
business, you almost have to love to travel, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
have to.
you should.
We
Well,
meet,
yeah.
we meet so many interesting people, just so many, I mean, crazy people, but crazy in the good way, when you're traveling around, just going through different towns, like, you get pretty jaded, and when your bubble is only so big, and then you realize, oh, like, my bubble's nothing, like, there's an entire world out there.
you actually
It gives you
just-
perspective on life.
Yes,
Like,
because you just brought up something that was you just led me into my next question. There are a lot of artists who stay in only that bubble. I know several bands from the Asbury area that won't leave Asbury because they've got, this great following in Asbury.
we always
But
said we
then-
would never be that band.
Good. Because then they go to
have
New
us
York-
on next year. Be like,
Right?
yeah, we never left.
But then they go to New York City and they only draw 3 people, and it's like, oh, maybe we're not that good.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to break, and that's really, I feel like, where you really want to break is like, I mean, if you draw 1,000, you can start drawing hundreds of people in New York City, then you're
Well,
gonna
that's
have
where
some people starting to look with
the
you.
variety and where you play. Like we played
Right.
all over the place.
The issue is New York City doesn't pay their bands.
No, and it's a pain in the butt to play there.
And I get it when your rent is
I know,
extremely
yeah,
high,
if you park.
and if you want to stay at the corner of your street, if you want your venue bar to stay there, you probably can't really pay your bands too much because your rent's extremely expensive. But that's not the problem of the bands, and I feel like you should pay your bands this little something.
But you kind of
Oh,
need to
I'm a-
travel, down to Delaware. I mean, there's a Delaware beach scene, there's the South Jersey beach scene, there's the North Jersey beach
Philly.
scene, there's New York, there's you
DC.
almost have to hit all those markets at some point in time.
Well, but the whole point of this, and you're 100% correct, but the whole point of that question was that, you guys, I already picked up on it before we even went on the air, that you guys aren't afraid to step out of their comfort zone.
Right.
You're
awesome.
and try to break into different markets and different and areas and generate a fan. Like you said, we go play in front of 100 people and we don't sell anything. We play in front of 7 and we sell
7 new people,
new
in a new
people, right.
area. Yeah, they haven't seen you. They don't know who you are at all,
Yeah.
which is definitely the key.
How do you make Levy and the Oaks stand out? I mean, in today's point-and-click world, where artists, first of all, just from doing this program, I am the first to tell you that artists and musicians are absolutely horrible at self-promotion. Okay? I talk to them, a week in advance, and I say, here, you're going to be on this show. They don't post anything about it. They don't, and it's like, come on, help me out here. Some artists go the other extreme. Every other time I open up Facebook or Twitter, there's
posting
something that's saying that they're going to be on Rock on Radio. Those are few and far between. And it's a vicious cycle because the bar owners don't want to pay you and they don't want to help you promote anymore because they figure out, we got Facebook, they got social media. They'll do it. But if the band doesn't do it, then you've got nothing. And then it's like, well, I can't have you back here because you only. I'm not a big pay-to-play guy. Matter of fact, I'm zero pay-to-play guy. I think it's
That's the way it should be. You should
terrible.
be totally against it.
I am totally against it. I should not have to sell 50 tickets to play in your bar.
Correct.
You're the promoter. Promote. Okay, I'll bring my people.
But we're going to give you 200
Yeah,
tickets,
but
so
you need
anything
to
over
bring your
50
own.
is just yours. You put it in your pocket,
Right. So I have to sell 50 tickets at $10 a piece and give you the money, and then I get nothing, just to play in your bar.
Yep.
My bass player in my one band had the greatest comeback I've ever heard. And the bar owner says, well, what kind of following do you have? He goes, I don't know. What kind of customers do you have? You know, so it's a vicious circle.
Yeah, you
know?
don't get a lot of that, especially like in New York City. Like maybe some places, but most places we play, they don't have that built in. Like where you're being introduced to people that come to see all those like new artists that come in. It's
Right.
like you just said, it's like the opposite. It's like
That's because those
like,
bars
who
are
are you
really
bringing?
looking to bring you in, so
To-
you bring your following.
yeah,
to
bring
fill
them
their
clients.
bar.
Yeah.
And I get that. They want you on a slow night, or they want you, to be an opener for somebody, so that you might bring an extra, if each band member brings 5 people, you bring 25, 30 people.
Yeah, they buy drinks.
You know,
it's good, not
right.
bad.
And then they get the money, and it helps ease the cost. But pay to play for me is just.
But even
it's
last
just
night,
terrible.
I mean, Vinny Lopez was at the Nottingham Tavern. There was like 50 people in there. I don't even think
That's
I
crowded for
didn't
that
see
place.
it advertised. Actually, it was. But they didn't do any promotion. You know what I
No,
mean?
the Knot just post something on Facebook. That's it. That's their idea of promotion now.
Right.
And,
Which is fine if you have 5,000 people that are following you.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So how
but,
do you as a band try to stand out with that?
I mean, just like everybody else, I guess. I mean, maybe we're not really that great at it, but you gotta post online. You gotta. I try to go out a lot, like in Asbury, and in that way. I only moved there a year ago, so it's like, kind of. I feel like face to face.
seen.
People like that know you and like you, they'll more apt to come if you're not. You know, like breaking
And there's
through on that,
actually a
like,
very supportive
famous level or-
scene in Asbury. So a lot of the bands, like, they support the other bands. They'll all come out to your show and they'll bring their friends to your show.
community.
And then you go out to their show and it's like, oh, like, cool, like. Even if there's like, oh, we're a last minute gig, do you want to play tomorrow? And it's like, well, I have no time to promote. I don't know who's going to come tomorrow. And they're like, and you go, and there's people there because
Exactly.
they're going to come to your show.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. I was like, I've never experienced that in a local music scene before, where the artists actually respect the other artist, and they're not just competing and want to be rivals. They're like, they actually care about what we're all doing collectively,
Right.
which is a super cool feeling.
Like you all own it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a very supportive. It's a very supportive.
But you leave Asbury. How do you do that? I mean, that's a very good question. Right. Yeah.
Well, as a band, that's where you've got to really,
Yeah. We've never been ashamed to ask for help. That's
huge,
You
too.
got to swallow the pill sometimes and be like, hey, we only know so many people. Our network is only so big, and if we want to, break through this little glass ceiling here, it's like, we're gonna need to ask for help.
You do, and the only way you get out there, word of mouth, I think, is still the best thing. So.
It is.
If
need,
you
like,
could
a
draw
buzz.
attention to you in some way, shape, or form. When I was a UPS driver in Trenton and I was playing in bands, I would see 200 to 300 people a day, and I'd be like, I would tell if I saw 200, I told at least 100. If I got, 15, 20 to show up, I was ecstatic.
That's great. Yeah.
But the only way they're going to know is if you tell them.
Yeah. I think it's important to also have a narrative, to not just be like every other band. Like why is your band different?
Exactly.
And for Levy just to be like, hey, like, I married my high school sweetheart, and then we had a divorce, and it like ruined me, and that's what this song's about.
Right.
I feel like that's important for listeners to know what you're writing about, so they can become invested in it, and they can understand a little bit more, and like break that skin. And I
No.
feel like once you do that, then you start really gaining, then you can really start to gain like a fan base that actually understands what you're doing, versus, oh, you're just this catchy song that I heard on the radio.
Right.
Which, hey man, I'll be that too. I'll be the catchy song you hear on the radio. But
Volunteer.
hopefully there's something deeper behind that, because that's why we're doing it.
No, and you're 100% correct. And I was trying to pull up again, because you guys are going to we got to wrap it up. We got about a minute left here. August 11th, second annual Making Waves Root Fest at the Asbury Park Brewery, 810 Sewell Avenue in Asbury Park. Cranston Dean, Levy and the Oaks, and I was trying to pull it up.
The Burns, the
Burns,
Paper Jets,
Taradente.
Taradente.
And Taradente. That's right. Fellas, thank you so much for making the trip, man.
Oh, thanks for having us. Definitely.
Guys were a blast. Pick something off the CD so Art can play it when we go out.
Do the title track. Right?
Sound of the
Do
City.
Sound of the City.
Yeah, let's
There
do
you
the
go,
ballad.
Art. You want to cue that one up? And before we get out of here, I just want to say, tomorrow my life returns to normal. I was out of commission pretty much for the last 6 weeks. I returned to my place of
Employment.
my daytime job tomorrow. I want to thank all of you for your well wishes, your support, everything that I got over the last 6 weeks from each and every one of you. my life over the last few years has been a little difficult, so I've kind of fallen out of some of the scenes. Like Asbury, I used to be in Asbury 2-3 times a week. I haven't been there maybe 3 times in the last 3 months. So things are starting to turn around a little bit. We've got some big stuff coming for Rock on Radio and City of Angels. Rockfest is coming up in September.
Rockfest.
That's September 14th and 15th. We have the Friday Jim Delray Band and
Jim Delray,
Nikki
Mickey
Breyer.
Breyer.
Saturday we have a whole slew of musicians.
We have our boy Rich Shalandon, Flying Dreams.
Richie Shalandon, Flying Dreams will be there.
Soraya,
Vinny Lopez.
Vinny Lopez, and the wonderful Winos.
AM Mafia.
AM Mafia.
Charles Loretta.
Charles Loretta, Jimmy
And
Gavin. We have all kinds of things
Yep.
going on there. More details to come, but Levy and the Oaks, Bob Makin, thank you so much. And it feels good to be back,
Glad you're here.
There you go.
I'm glad you're here, too.
And me too.
Aw.
And we're going out on, what's the name of this tune?
Sound of the
The
City.
title track. That's right. Sound of the City. Friday, Levy and the Oaks, Sound of the City makes its debut. Check them out. Until we see you again, rock on.
I miss the sound of the city. You know I love your eyes, but I miss the light. I miss the sound of the city. Out and about and all about it. I was so in love with the thought of you. Then you took me by the hand, 'cause that's what lovers do. Goddamn, I trusted you. There's nothing louder than silence. You say there's nothing wrong, but why you lying? There's nothing louder than silence. You say there's nothing wrong, but why you lying? You know I love the beach, but I miss the noise. I miss the sound of the city. You know I love your eyes, but I miss the light. I miss the sound of the city. An hour to go a mile. There's traffic in my heart. Driving to you. I'll miss the dirty highway I used to call my muse. Goddamn, I trusted you. There's nothing louder than silence. You say there's nothing wrong, but why you lying? There's nothing louder than silence. You say there's nothing wrong, but why you lying? Yeah, why you lying? Yeah, why you lying? In the waves you seem distant. From a shoreline you're missing. My lighthouse shines, but not for you. In the waves you seem distant. From a shoreline you're missing. My lighthouse shines, but not for you. But I miss the noise, I miss the sound of the city. You know I love your eyes, but I miss the light. I miss the sound of the city. You know I love the beach, but I miss the noise. I miss the sound